looks like we are in fact live.
We're live. Welcome back, everyone. Seems like you just nearly had a seizure there. Artie, you're right, mate. You've been taking your pills.
I'm feeling silly because I'm hungry. A little starving over here.
Wouldn't want you to like seize up in the intro, mate. Right? Like you gotta wait until like the third hour before you like have like a proper seizure, my dude.
I'm just really excitable. You know, being hungry does that to a guy.
It's good to be back. It's great to be live. Thought out once again from my cryogenic capsule that I have been transferred to actually under Mount Sinai, right? So I'm very, very close to the war. I can feel the vibrations deep inside my pod whilst I sleep in a supposedly dreamless sleep. I mean, they say it's dreamless.
Supposedly.
I keep waking up with, these sort of like weird things in my head. And you know, when I woke up today, Artie, right, I realized something. I had a really profound realization, right? I don't need to go to church, right? I don't need to take communion. I don't need to go to the liturgy, right? What I need is to listen to Jim Lindsay, right? I finally, right, like, after all this time, I have realized how wrong I am, right? And I want to sort of, I guess, repent and join the kosher church, the kosher centrist church, right? Like, where we worship democracy and my constitution and
liberty. Don't forget liberty. That's the holy trinity right there.
And freedom, right? Let's not ask freedom to do what, just freedom,
right?
Like, I just love to.
The most important thing for us is to have freedom, but not trans kids, but not define what freedom is.
Yeah, and most importantly, right, we should absolutely not define the freedom to do what, right? Like, look, mate, if I want to just, walk around, swinging my dick everywhere, right? Like, fucking, decide to like trans myself and, everyone around me, who are you? Indeed, who is anyone to say bad things about it? Thus saith Jim.
So are you're trying to get an answer right now, right?
Oh, I don't need an answer, right?
Okay. I was going to say it sounds pretty woke, right? If you're looking for an answer,
I have been bodily transported right into a communion with James Lindsay, right? Mate, look, all of the contradictions, right? Just
so you're in the Telegram group, huh?
I have realized, right, that the whole world resides in his milky udders. And really, right, like, look, Jim, of course, he's too modest to say this himself, okay? But if he was ruler of the world, everything would be 100% awesome, right? And, and look, I know he doesn't want to say it, but, all of us, hardcore Lindsayeites, we know, bro, right? If he was put in unquestioned charge with the power of life and death over every citizen, well, all the problems would just go away, bro, right? And anyone who says otherwise can do a stint in the James Lindsay democracy and kosher centrism re-education camp, right?
That Fist was right again. How does he do it? Wow. Put another biscuit in the Twinings tin.
I do like the occasional biscuit, I've got to say, right? I have my biscuit tin.
No biscuits left and right over here.
Overflows.
How do you know all this, Fist? How do you do it? How are you always right? What's your secret? Actually, yeah, you can't. Don't let us know. That's the secret. You can't let us know the source of your power. I understand now.
Well, I mean,
sometimes I like to say that Fist is like God himself. Okay, he's so all-knowing and he knows so much, and just don't even question Fist because he has all the answers because he knows so much because he's always right. That's why I like Fist personally.
Oh, shut the fuck up. you love like tormenting me with that bullshit, right?
I can't imagine being like that. I can't imagine wanting to hear that.
Yeah, I know. It must be very, very like imagine being the kind of person like just walking around, right? Be like, actually, I'm always right about everything. Actually, I can't comprehend what that'd be like. Imagine what a fucking insufferable prick you would be. Actually, we don't have to imagine, Really?
All the time, and it's every day, and he never says what he's right about, and he's I thought he was spiraling. So the way that I felt about COVID, like during COVID, I was like, now I don't care. And then 2 days went by, I went, oh wow, I'm exploring newer and deeper levels of not caring that I didn't know were possible. Okay. When I say James Lindsay is spiraling, it's continuing into infinity. The man is never going to get better. I don't see him ever turning this around.
It's the whole kosher centrist sort of league, right? They're
spiraling. It's a syndicate of midwits.
Yeah, they're spiraling, right? They're literally like launching into a purity spiral. You know what's really interesting now is that they have basically their own coterie of gropers. I mean, I don't know whether they're all
their own
like,
what?
Coterie.
Is this so koshery?
Is
that what you said?
They have their own koshery.
There's a gaggle of geese. Was it? There's a koshery of centrists. Is that? Is that what you said, or am I hearing that?
No,
it's my heart speaking right now.
What, you've never heard the word coterie before?
No.
It means like a sort of group of followers.
I think it's koshery now.
Yeah, well, okay, you might, yes, a koshery, yes, that's far funnier. I mean, the thing is, I don't know whether some of them are bots. I mean, I presume they're just midwits, right? I don't want to sort of do that thing of being like, you know, everyone who disagrees with me is a bot. But there's now like, if you comment under like one of his posts now, right? One or two of these like fucktards will basically like show up and be like, did you know that you're wrong? And like,
with nothing behind what they're saying either.
With nothing. I mean, you could easily get an LLM to write. But again, right? I don't want to assume, right? Like maybe he just, you know, has a bunch of retards, you know, like following him. They
need him to be right. So when he says something, it's post hoc rationalization of, well, I know he's right, so let me just find a way how to get there. Like saying he doesn't believe in something anymore, or so, you know.
Dude, it's so fucking mental. Like, I was just like browsing right before we went live.
Innocently,
right? I got to fucking like show you this thing. All right, hang on, check this fucking shit out.
All right,
this is fucking crazy. Okay, so you are all familiar with the long Lindsay schizo post by now, right?
2,000 words. I've put it into a word counter before.
Where he will attempt to explain everything through the lens of critical constructivism, right? Principally this author, Joe Kinchelow. Okay, right?
Oh,
if you remember that car crash and interview he had with Brett Weinstein?
Yes.
Right? Where he's like he's saying to Brett, like, you know, Brett's like, well, what the fuck is this thing? And Lindsay's
I know,
like,
but
well,
I swear he watches us, dude, because I just said, when was this posted?
When was this posted? Fucking like 8:32 p.m. So
yeah, I just said
12 hours ago,
yesterday or the day before, that he's never followed up on this. I just said it. I'll try to look for that tweet.
So the weird thing is, right? He, more than anyone else I know, tries to explain everything through a critical constructivism lens, except in this sort of like weird negative kind of way, right? Now, in this, right, he is currently beefing with this woman, Liz Wheeler. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who this woman is. She's got a show. I mean, she's got 1 million followers. Fuck, mate. Right. So, yeah. Mate, you know, girthy, right? Like, if you follow the discourse, you know, they sort of, you know, she's also like anti-woke and no. And she made the horrible mistake. She blasphemed against the Lindsayites by daring to suggest that there is no such thing as a neutral institution. I can't even say it. Blasphemy. It is haram, right? Now, this is because she's a Catholic, right?
There we go.
James is, of course, beefing with the Catholics. This is the post that drew James's ire, right? He called her woke for basically saying that you know, there's no such thing as a neutral institution, and she basically sort of recites Lindsay verbatim, right? Woke comes from Brazilian Marxist Paulo Freire, right? Like, blah, blah, blah. This is classic Lindsayite kind of like stuff, right? And then Lindsay basically says that the reason why there is no such thing as a neutral institution, the reason why that is woke, is because of critical constructivism, bros. Critical constructivism.
Yeah. So
Now
real quick.
Mm-hmm.
On March 12th, I was referencing this. Yeah, there it is right there. And I said, James Lindsay called this book The Book of Woke and then never really mentioned it ever again. Miraculously, 4 days later, for the first time since then, he's actually addressing the book, okay? He's a fan. Hi, James! Go ahead.
Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. You're really unpleasant on Twitter. You know that, mate, right? Like you
Bad
should,
boy.
try and actually engage in substantive arguments with your
Right. I would give you a
opponents instead of
spanking, but you like it.
Instead of just like browbeating people. I'm just saying, right? Like, because by not engaging with your opponents, you just sort of concede the field and you just come across as
the Orthodox Church thanks you very much, James.
Oh, yes. Actually, I would also like to thank James Lindsay for his contribution to Christianity by driving more and more people.
Orthodoxy specifically,
right? So what is critical constructivism, pros, and why is it woke in this context, right? So he's like, so look, I'll just basically summarize, okay, right? He's basically saying that because critical constructivism, right, posits the idea of what you essentially call standpoint epistemology, that everyone's sort of point of view is constructed, right, by the inputs around them. That's why it's called constructivism, right? Saying that there is no such thing as a neutral institution is therefore woke. The thing is, right, this is complete fucking like bullshit, right? Saying there's no such thing as a neutral institution is not saying that that everything is constructed. On the contrary, what it is saying is that every institution must perforce have some kind of morality, right? It's not constructivism, right? And it's and James goes on to say, right, like, this is why, they're always talking about the common good and they want to like force stuff on you. It's rich coming from Lindsay, right, who clearly has an idea of the common good that he would be more than happy to force on other people if he had the power to do so, right? This is becoming like more and more obvious with every passing day. I mean, I'm looking forward to the centrist gulag, right? What, like, what do you think they'll just like put you in the electric shock chair, right, and make you listen to like all of his Never Again Is Now like podcasts, like back to back to back to back, right, while having your testicles shocked until you love the nation of Israel, right?
But what about the Orthodox Lindsayite gummy?
I don't think you can have an Orthodox.
Let me just show you real quick. I
What
know
the
you've
fuck
seen
does
this,
that
but I
even
forgot about
mean?
it. Real quick. I've also pointed out I am Christian Orthodox, so I don't have any ideological ties. Christian Orthodox. Does someone say Christian Orthodox or Orthodox Christian? Either way.
I mean, usually you would say Greek or Russian Orthodox. That's not
Christian Orthodox. That sounds weird. Colloquial,
that does
right?
sounds weird, right? I haven't ever had someone come up to me and say I'm Christian Orthodox. Apparently, though, there are a small group of retarded Orthodox evangelists that are not recognized by the Orthodox.
That's not
Church.
A thing.
It is a thing, right?
I know, but so is
it's completely.
Yeah.
It's completely retarded. He could be one of those for all I know. I don't really know.
But he's only grown closer to the moves as a matter of principle. He's even planning a trip to Israel. So that's what the ortho bros on the Lindsay side are like. Just so we all know.
I mean, just don't read John Chrysostom, I guess, right? Like, or any of the other late church fathers and their opinions on Judaism. It makes a whole lot of sense as long as you don't read any of the foundational texts of the Orthodox Church, I guess.
When you look up Orthodox Christian evangelicals, it is a very tiny sliver of history. And talk about outcasts of a denomination.
Well, it just doesn't like how the fuck does that even work? Like what? Like it's Orthodox, but you have like a Protestant preacher doing like the singing, and he like plays guitar. Like how? Like how the fuck would that even work? Anyway, yeah, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So Lindsay has been beefing with various other Catholics. This took off so much that it was actually even in trending, which is fucking hilarious. Right?
That's great.
James Lindsay claims Catholicism while rejecting integralism in a heated clash. Now, he likes to talk a lot about integralism, right? Basically, all that really means is that the government is held to a sort of religious morality, right? Like, you know, James, of course, frames it as like a theocracy, but that's fucking bullshit, right? Integralism, as he would frame it, was like the entire West, basically up until the Moose took it over, right? And if you are interested, by the way, in this topic, you might enjoy my latest episode of Fistery. Arden, could you stick it in the chat? Best mod in the business, Arden Party.
Fight me.
And basically, I'm talking about after the English Revolution. I think it's about like a couple hundred years later, right? And the Moos are seeking emancipation, they call it, right? Where they basically have the right to, you know, join parliament. And the arguments against it are like, they're so prescient, right? They're like, you know, the high Tories, basically the House of Lords. They're like, well, if we admit the Moos, what's next? Are we going to admit the Mohammedans, the Hindus? Don't you know the entire moral character of the country will erode, right? And the Moos with their financial schemes will impoverish everyone. Oh my God, that was so bloody right. And, you know, and it was the progressives and the Whigs, exactly the same, like fucking useful idiots. Anyway, I digress. So, Jimmy Boy has, with his usual aplomb, right, and linguistic flair, tell you what, mate, Voltaire could learn a thing or two from this guy, right? Here's him. He's been beefing with Carrie Prejean Boller for like ages. Taking her down here in a devastating theological argument. It's because you suck. You suck. That's literally it, right? Like, you know, don't, you know, right? He's taking a call like, wait, hang on. Wait. Oh, sorry. I didn't have the actual tweet up. You suck.
Oh, I know, but like, don't they have some sort of media training for the goys or anything like that? Like, how does this happen?
I don't know. I'm starting to like honestly wonder like whether it's like the vax, right? Like whether the vax has like fucking done his brain in or something, or whether it's because he's like hanging out with the people that he's hanging out with a bad crowd, right?
They really
like,
don't care about optics though. Like, no one tells him to tone it down. No one's like, hey, chill and don't do that.
But would he listen to anyone who wasn't Mooish?
Right? Well, no, I'm saying the Moos. You would think the Moos are like, okay, we get it. We need you to have an air of legitimacy. So can we just tone it down, James? It just yeah.
So okay, so now he's been beefing with this guy Joshua Charles, who is a former White House speechwriter. I don't know under which administration, right? But you know, clearly a man of letters, a man of words.
A guy that's got a face that you hate to be smug and correct. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, fuck it. Look at this guy's face, right?
Imagine if that guy's right and you're wrong.
Oh, mate.
Imagine if he's so polite. Imagine if he's so nice to you as he's right and you're wrong too.
I wonder what his podcasts are like. EternalChristendom.com. I should check it out, right? Nice. So the current boogeyman is Catholic integralists, right? We don't want Catholic integralists, right? Which would basically mean like having a government that like is working on Christian principles, right? This to Lindsay seems to be the most terrifying thing in the world, right? I mean, I don't know.
Ted Cruz hyping this time?
Oh,
is he the guy a part of the syndicate? Oh, beautiful! I had this bookmarked. Yeah. Ted Cruz reposting Insurrection Barbie. They have to be in a group chat.
Of course they're totally in a group chat, right? Like for sure, right? And it's not. I'm not being like, ooh, it's some spooky conspiracy, right? They're all in a group chat because they share the same interests, and they're clearly like passing shit back and forward
These are
and like
people we've
booking
been
each
making
other
fun
on.
of for months now, that all of a sudden they're getting the Ted Cruz push.
Well, I mean, it actually makes a lot of sense, right? Like as their circle of influence sort of shrinks smaller and smaller, and as their sort of like apocalyptic rhetoric like cranks up higher and higher and higher. This is something they've sort of basically inherited from the Moos, right? This idea that if they don't do the thing, right, like they'll all be like wiped out. And like I don't know, right? Like James will get his Pornhub subscription cancelled, or like whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, for someone who claims, right? We'll get onto his claims about Christianity, but for someone who claims to understand Christianity, he really, really, really does not want to live in a Christian society, right? He hasn't really specified why that is, right? But if we read his like previous stuff, of which I have some selections, by the way, I think it's pretty obvious.
Nice.
He just thinks Christians are fucking stupid, right? He's just skinwalking, basically, right? So yeah, this was doing the rounds. It's all a Russian psyop, right? Like MAGA are the real Republicans. If you're a real Republican, you love the state of Israel, right? You want to die for Israel, right?
James Lindsay is male, lesbian, Rachel Maddow. Russia, Russia, Russia. I get it.
Yep. Don't be ethno-nationalist, unless you're Moorish, of course, that's totally fine.
It's just the one criticism. We just want an answer to that,
you can be Catholic. I mean, look
all the rules, right? All the rules he makes up.
The 70 million American Catholics who go to mass on Sunday, vote their conscience, pay their taxes, coach Little League, and have been reliable partners in the pro-life movement for 50 years are not the subject of this investigation. So there you go. You are allowed to have religion as long as you do not have any strong beliefs, right?
Stay in your pigeonholed. Yeah.
Right.
Your head in the sand.
You can go to mass on Sunday, before you go to the Little League game, right? Have your Weber grill. Just don't get like any airs and graces about living in a certain kind of society. Otherwise, you're an integralist, right? If you're a Moo,
we don't want to be an integralist, right?
Yeah.
That's
right.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're a Moo, that's totally fine. Obviously,
okay.
Right? Like you can make as many claims about how society should be ordered as you want, right? Like
I'm just trying to play the game. I want to know what the rules are. Okay.
So the first is integralism, a pre-Vatican II political theology. Now, the funny thing is, right, Vatican II is dated from like 1963, right? So it's like the way this is framed is like, oh yes, the ancient texts of Vatican II.
Can you believe it's pre-Hart-Celler Act? That's how long ago it was.
That's how long ago, in the ancient before 4 times. And a lot of Catholics don't like Vatican II. Now, I'm not a Catholic. I don't have a beef with the Catholic bros at all.
I think they're a little preachy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I
specifically,
I would find it hard to have to obey the Pope personally, right?
And
like
gay Pope. Yeah.
It's too distant from me, right? Like I've got no problem taking direction from like my priest or my.
You're glad you don't have to defend Catholicism, is what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, but they're good people.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Like, right. I don't, and I honestly, like I think I've said before, right? Like anyone who fucking goes to old school liturgy is a brother in my book, right? Mm-hmm. I think the Christians have enough problems without fucking beefing with each other at this point. Okay.
Right.
And so, basically, anyone who doesn't support Vatican II, drop in Nick Fuentes, of course. No. Right.
I'm assuming Vatican II must be some sort of Moo-influenced entity. if we're going to like 1963, I mean, this is 15 years after it became a country.
It is strongly Mooishly influenced. In fact, one of the big parts of Vatican II is Nostra Atete, Nostra Atete. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, Catholicism bros, right? I don't mean to, but I will pronounce it Nostra Atete, right? And it's basically this document where it talks about all of the things that the Catholic Church got wrong about the moos, and how, it's very, very important that the, church battles anti-septicism and no. And it's just, I mean, you could argue that it's sort of the end of traditional Catholicism. Fortunately, again, not being a Catholic, I do not have to sort of like wrestle with these weighty ideas. And then, of course, it goes on to basically say that this is all because of Dugin, the Vichy government, right? So it's Russians and Snazzies, and the Middle Easterners, right? So this is the
otherwise known as the South Asians, according to Europe.
American Catholics do not vote as a bloc for Catholic nationalist candidates. Well, they clearly wouldn't want that now, would they?
Well, are they heavily discouraged from doing so by the FBI as being some sort of domestic terrorist organization? I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Probably. Real Catholics support Trump, I guess. I don't know. There's a network. I mean, these guys clearly have a network as well. I mean, like, why? It weirds me out the way this thing is always like portrayed in such a sinister term, right? Like, if you got a group chat with like a bunch of people, is it a network, or does it have to be like backed by a government? I don't know. These are questions far too weighty.
All we know is the person that we should be listening to about religion and the authenticity of a person's religion should be James Lindsay.
I decided nobody needs to know what my religion is any longer, and I'll never tell anybody again.
Hey, that's the guy. Very upfront, very open, very honest. Not Moodyism. Okay, there's no way it's that.
Yeah, well, I think it's bullshit, right? I was rereading the last chapter of his book.
Why? Just cut yourself instead. It's easier. It's better for you.
It's called Everybody is Wrong About God, but in my personal headcanon, it's actually titled Everyone But Me is Wrong About God, right? Because I just, I don't know, right? Like that's basically sort of the way that he acts.
It's the feeling a lot of people get, so I don't think you're alone.
So he's beefing with Joshua Charles, right? And this dude does like, you know how you've sometimes seen me argue with people and I'm just like really polite to them, and you're like, how the fuck
can't stand it. I bicker at you in private about it.
This guy, I kneel, right? I kneel. No, this guy does it like so fucking well. He is just really nice.
Dedicated.
Responding to like Lindsay, right?
It's just like the guy believes in Christ or something.
Yeah. Like look at this, right? I am blessed by your opposition and slander, James, such that it is. I hope to be even more blessed by your conversion to the Catholic faith, for which I pray and fast this Lent. God bless you. And James is like, I'm already a confirmed Catholic, you complete retard.
Now, James Lindsay only says it that way to bait someone into now thinking he's a Catholic. Someone in the future is going to say he said he was a Catholic, and he's going to go, nah, I didn't say I'm a Catholic now.
No,
that's the only reason he loves saying that.
I bet you he grew up in a fucking Catholic family.
Right.
He was probably like baptized. What are the Catholics called, being confirmed, I think, right? So he's baptized like as a baby. And I think he's still bent out of shape about it, to be perfectly honest, right? Someone sent me like this tweet from his like stepdaughter or something, basically saying that one time she said to James that she wanted to go to church, and then he like spent like the next like month reading to her at bedtime from the Bible, like telling her how stupid Christians are, right? And this would make sense, right? Because again, if you look at his book, right, it's very, anyway. So like, hang on, we'll get on to this.
Well, hold on. So I just want you to realize it's 13,000 views for Joshua Charles and 1.3 thousand likes and 5 comments.
Yeah.
James Lindsay has 11,000 views and 12 likes and 8 comments. He has more.
They do say
that's really difficult to do.
They do say Vox Populi, Vox Dei, right? I mean, he's just so fucking rude. Like,
He said Tuco Quay. He said Tuco Quay when he hasn't even. He loves to have just don't say anything. What he says makes no sense. It's inaccurate. Now everyone just looks up what that is and goes, "Oh, James is wrong." It's only negative. It's only negative. It's not even a net negative. It's only negative things come from him responding.
So, okay, so Joshua keeps talking in the thread with this random person, right? And then he's basically saying that temporal and spiritual power need to not be exactly the same, but joined. You know what I mean, right? Like the old symbol of the eagle with the two heads. You know what I mean, right? Yeah. So state power, temporal power, and spiritual power are different, but they have to be joined. They have to guide one another, right? And James is like, "You have no authority over me. Your priests have no authority over me. Your church has no authority over me." It's like
is he Quebecois?
He's
kind of snooty. He's almost French, but not quite, but still American.
I think this is like what we call like an atheist exorcism or something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean, right? Like he picks up his Star of David and he's like, "You have no power over me here." Right?
I know, but he exclusively posts online in friend-enemy distinction. If only he knew that.
Dude, he has the most crazy friend-enemy distinction of anyone I have ever seen online, right? Like he doesn't fucking prevaricate, right? Like you're either friend and there is no in between.
I know, but
right?
nobody really knows why though. They can't. That's why everyone's post hoc rationalizing what he's doing. Like, okay, that's the bad guy. I'm sure there's a reason.
And look at this stuff, right? Okay, so Joshua Charles is saying, by saying I'm not ashamed of Christian civilization over most of the past 2,000 years, perfectly reasonable statement, right? What a strange criterion of Catholic behavior you have. Clearly, a rational exchange is impossible at the present time. This is absolutely correct. God bless and have a wonderful day in this Lenten season. Just being nice, right? You're fake as hell,
dude,
man.
He must hang out with Ben Boyce in private, okay? Ben Boyce is the same thing.
You're fake as hell, man. And you're in no position to heap coals upon my head since you deny the Constitution. Do you deny the Constitution?
heap coals upon my head. James Lindsay is only attacking this guy and only considering himself to be a victim somehow.
Chat, I think we should all pray for James Lindsay, right? Next time you're at church, right, light a candle and just say like a short prayer for Jim, right? And
dude, it's a waste. Do it for a kid with cancer in a hospital. Complete wasted prayer. Don't listen to him. There's way better people to pray for.
No, it just really annoyed the shit out of him, I think, right?
You could feel it. You could sense it. His dark energy.
And then he's just, he's calling everyone like Timu Catholics, I guess, right? Once again,
gimmick.
Once again, the trick that made him incredibly popular with Christians everywhere, deciding that he can decide who is or is not a real Christian. Go be woke about your religion by yourself, you weirdo. Okay, fucking
you're weird.
What the hell?
You're a weirdo. You're weird.
You're weird, right? And then to get back to this chick, Liz Wheeler, right? She's like, look, right, we're thought leaders. We're supposed to engage in substantive debate about areas of disagreements, right? Now, Liz clearly hasn't gotten the memo, right? James doesn't debate people anymore,
she still thinks
right?
he's people,
I mean, I don't think he's like engaged in any kind of real debate, and since he got his clock cleaned by fucking Sargon. That one time, right, in which he got basically destroyed and walked away and was
with
like,
Ben
"Oh,
Boyce,
I won."
by the way, that was like 2 years ago. I need everyone to understand. I posted this today. Destiny has a video on Peter Boghossian's channel where Destiny debates that the trans stuff has gone too far, and that was less than a year ago. This is really, me and you really came up on the wave of this insanity.
Yeah.
Which at the beginning of 2025, it wasn't like this. This is really like your second quarter. These are second quarter problems of 2025 that really started to ramp up.
Yeah, it's amazing. We just caught the wave and went with it, right?
Yeah.
Now, and the thing is, right, like this chick you would think is a natural ally, of Lindsay, right? She's talking about the right-wing podcast wars on her show.
Mhm.
What have we become on the right? It's so insecure that we can't have substantive debates on policy and political philosophy. Well, Liz, the reason why you can't is that Judaism and Israel is the central issue, right? And James is still trying to drag everyone back into phase one, right? We're not having a conversation. We are not having this conversation. Anyone trying to have this conversation is bad, is a snazzy, is woke right, like, you know, whatever, okay? And then you have the people who are actually having the conversation. And it is a very detailed and interesting conversation, right? The moves are a thread that runs all through European history. It's not a simple conversation, right? And then she's like, disagree with me all you want, James, but please make your substantive case or you really won't be any fun to debate. Again, he doesn't debate people, right?
How are you a James? Oh my God. Go back to how many likes first comments. She got mauled. She got mauled on that. How are there so many issues with what she said unless it's a bunch of rabid Lindsay-ites?
And then James comes back. He's like, Liz, I assure you, you do not want to do this. You're free to back out whenever you like. I'll give you a few hours. Like,
or else what? He loves the plausible deniability so much.
He's like the fucking mafia.
Yeah.
No, it'll be a real shame if you said that. You know, I could deploy some people to really make it uncomfortable for you. I'll give you a couple of hours to think about it.
We all know the apoplectic bitch fit we would all have to endure if Groiper 1488 told James Lindsay, I'll give you a few hours. Okay.
Oh yeah. Wait, someone's like James Flimsy.
Nice.
I like that. I like that.
Oh, actually, super chat soon.
Yes. Okay. We'll just finish this.
Yeah. Cool.
You know, the woke, no such thing as we're neutral. Wait, do we have anything else on this? Okay, and so then I've got the stuff from his book. Let's do some like super chats.
Yeah, let's slow it down before we get to his book, which is really like reading the Talmud with how we're feeling it is about these people's intentions for you.
It is meaty. Limiting Principle podcast for $2. Hello, fellow Boyce interviewees.
Nice. Yeah, he was just on Boyce, and already this is all I care about. Patrick, Limiting Principle podcast, his interview with Ben Boyce did better than Isaiah Carter's and did better than Mikhail Olson's within 24 hours. That's all I care about.
Very nice. And I believe Ben Boyce opened with the question, what is an anti-Semite?
Lovely. That'll do it. That's meat in the seats.
So check it out. Congratulations on joining the club, Patrick. Nicely done. Last remembrance for $5. Did you see Homath on Ben Boyce's show? Homath is more of a friend than I thought. I did not.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah. Homath does a really good job of not being an influencer and speaking just as a regular person, telling you about his life. It's something I really appreciate about any interview that he has, or even some of his content, where he makes really good, sharp, to the point content. Very unique content, but he has no problem telling you, like, yeah, this is since it's very similar to a lot of us. We're like, yeah, since COVID, things have been completely different. So yeah, it's a really good interview.
Isaac for $20, mate.
Hello.
Thank you so much, Isaac. Great to see you, mate. Hi, Artie and Fist. How are you? I'm good, mate. Both of you have a 10-pound foot cook.
Oh boy.
What does that mean?
Keep reading. I'll explain it to you later.
Blood and brown. The West has fallen. All I can do is eat slop and goon. No, fight back. Save the white race car. Prove that our God and Savior is not a moo. Bears run the world. Tell the Foids to submit.
Well, we completely sign off on most of that. Thank you.
Thanks, Isaac. Bill Clinton skin suit for €25.
Hello.
Hey, 2 girthy super chats in a row. Goodness me.
Earthmans.
Thank you very much. I'll do the voice. Hello, Artie and Fist. I missed the streams for the past couple of weeks. Could you please, oh pretty please, reenact them while you would? Oh woo.
What precious boy.
Well, a hearty ooh to you too, Bill Quinton Squinsuit.
Thank you, bruv.
Thank you very much. And he Bill Clinton skin suit member for 3 ooh-woos. 3 months, ooh. Another boiled eel and plate of mushy peas in the fist was right cauldron.
I'm gonna use that. I gotta use that.
I'm gonna need like a trough soon, right?
We're
For
gonna
like all the
make a cauldron, huh?
the tins of baked beans, you know, and the hash browns. The Grey Slayer for $5. Thank you very much. Man, Russia seems to be right about a lot if it's their side up.
Right?
I hope you're not agreeing with the Russians, Grey Slayer. Oh my God. Aramaic Discourse for $10.
Oh, hello, man.
As a Catholic, I missed the start of the stream because I was busy tone policing like a sewing circle, non-denominational Baptist. Could you restart the stream? Thanks. Well, obviously not, right? If you're tone policing, we don't believe in that. Thank you very, very much.
Sounds like you repented, so very much appreciated.
Testing for $2. You get to enjoy my company now. Congrats. Oh, God,
I was gonna say something. I didn't want to be imprudent though.
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness testing's here, mate. Isaac again for $5. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, Rob.
As a strong traditional Catholic of SSPV and SSPX, the Bears are the reason for Vatican II and a million heresies of said Vatican II. They now run the cathedral. That does seem to be the way it goes. Because the Vatican Bank, I believe, is how many such cases, right? You wind up borrowing money,
right?
Sooner or later, they own you.
They want to collect,
mate. Don't. I mean, the whole idea of the Vatican borrowing money is just like. I know usury is, you're not supposed to lend money interest, but surely like you're not supposed to borrow money at interest either. Fuck, I don't know. Thank you very much, Isaac. Look, again, Tradcath bros. I hope you guys will be all right. Yes, Nick Nielsen for $2. Great stream, boys. Jimmy wipes from the front.
I like to say that he stands up to take a shit.
Deadpool Kid for $2. Hello, my fellow Mubers. Be sure to like and sub. Indeed, be sure to like and subscribe. Send this to your friends. Help, send it to your enemies. We
don't know how long we are for this world, okay?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Quagmire for $20.
What are you doing there, little fella?
Thank you very much. I genuinely don't understand who is taking Lindsay seriously. Leftists see him as a useful idiot to sow discord. I guess only the neocon right is where he belongs, but I've never heard anything substantive out of him. Yeah, it's basically the kosher centrists and the neocons. He is their creature now. And as their support dwindles away, I imagine he's going to become even more and more unhinged. This is generally the way it goes.
It has been one of the most historic plummets from a fall from grace. He went from, and I'm not kidding, he went from going on Joe Rogan in like April of 2024 to less than a year later, just getting, he cannot gain a subscriber on his YouTube channel in over a year. That thing is stuck at 175,000 subscribers. I've never seen anything like it. And
we're getting better numbers than him now, aren't we? I think.
Well, he doesn't stream or anything. He just
no. But I mean, like your videos absolutely fucking destroy. I mean, your videos are doing fucking numbers, mate. It's awesome.
I did get a Jay Dyer pump recently, so I do have. Can you believe it? Another ortho bro hyped my channel. Can you believe it? Okay, God, I'll go. All right.
So Quagmire, Jim sort of built his reputation critiquing the left, Hegel.
Which is easy to do. Which, as we know now, is like low-hanging fruit, right?
Well, no, but also like he did some really good stuff on the Frankfurt School, and then allegedly he got a call from Barry Weiss, basically saying, you really are talking about the moose an awful lot. Maybe you could,
Have we ever covered that? Did it happen? I can't find it. We'll
I
find it at some point.
think he said it on one of his podcasts, and I can't remember
we
which
covered
one.
it though,
I didn't
didn't
write
we?
it down. We did cover it. It's
Right.
I'm sure it's in one of our
find it.
Lindsay streams. As the Lindsay historians, we are documenting this fascinating sociological phenomenon. Thank you very much, Quagmire.
Hall of Fame lol cow. I'm telling you.
The new GM for $10.
What are you doing there, little fella? I love that one.
I'm here to deliver a tone citation. Your tone this stream has been unacceptable. Restart and be more anti-Grizzly Elf, or be fined at their interest rate. Fist, you know what that's like. Oh, good.
Yeah, he does.
I certainly do. Don't make me do any more BBC porn flicks. I can't handle it.
You need to at least negotiate. You really just seem to go. What do they always say to you? No, what do you always say to them? Where they give you an offer, and you go, not as far as I know. I forget what you always say, but I'm like,
listen, man. If you can't trust the moose, who can you trust? Right? I don't understand any of these complex financial stuff, right? Look, I go to my Mooish financial advisor, right, who explains to me the details of the deal of the deal, right? And for some reason, it always works out bad. But my Mooish financial advisor always ensures me that this is my fault, or the market, or something like that. And what am I going to do? Read a contract? God, that's
that's the one I'd learn how to read if a Moo gave me a contract. I'll put it that way.
Evil Author for $2. Hey man, how you doing? Planting my mega garden. Can you restart the stream? Not until your garden grows. I'm afraid.
Mega garden. That sounds
that's
cute. Got some cute fellas today.
And Kevin 11, 2 months membership. Thank you. I'm tired, mustache man. Where are you? Lol. I miss. What does that mean?
Black cat. Black. I think it's black pussy. Sorry, white. Sorry, white gnat. Already 2026. I think I said that in a stream recently. And dude, I think it was a 4.5 hour stream, and I said that for 2 seconds. And this is what it's like when I stream now. Okay, I say one thing out of hours, and they remember it. People know what I say more than I do at this point. It's getting scary.
You got the jungle fever. You got the jungle fever.
I don't have a fever. I just miss it a little bit.
Okay, so just to round off Lindsay posting, I was just on Twitter and I was like, let's peruse the last chapter of his 2015 book. Everyone but me is wrong about God. Now I had a bunch of Lindsay-ites in reply saying actually, he refuted that book. But I asked Rock, and no, he didn't. Actually, right? I mean, he has said that New Atheist was cringe, but he hasn't really addressed this book at all, which leads me to believe that at heart, he basically sort of still believes it. And there's some fucking crazy shit in this book, right? Listen to this. Is it wrong to uproot someone's faith? Now, uproot is a particularly poor choice of words, right?
I'd say it's pretty direct. I'd say a lot of times he's beating around the bush, but that's pretty out in the open.
Because that's what that's what Mustache Man said about the moose, right? That they would be uprooted, ausrotten, particularly, right? So, wir müssen uprooten, ausrotten die Faithen. Oh, my German isn't that good, right?
But Dugan did say something 30 years ago. I think.
Exactly.
You're kind of overshadowing that point.
Hey man, right? If he can hold Dugan accountable for crap that he said 30 years ago, then surely it is fair that we can hold James accountable for
especially
stuff
since James is really making himself a voice on religion somehow.
Yeah, but he's doing it so badly. I don't know, man, right? So is it wrong to uproot someone's faith? I think most people would say that's freaking retarded. Generally speaking, no. It is not wrong to uproot someone's faith.
I'm sorry.
To the contrary.
Are you reading the Talmud right now? I thought you were going to read what James Lindsay wrote.
To the contrary, if done in ways that respect the individual's autonomy and dignity, I mean, how are you respecting their autonomy and dignity if you're trying to uproot their faith? Helping someone pull out their own faith by the roots does them an enormous favor. Okay. Every article of faith abandoned is one fewer unjustified premise that is believed for bad reasons. And it is thus one fewer opportunity to mislead oneself. Oh my God. Lord and saints preserve us. There may be special cases, of course, but those are exceptions and not rules. For the vast majority of people, helping them to uproot their faith does them at least two major favors. First, it treats them as an intelligent adult capable of engaging in serious and critical thought, unlike those goddamn Christians, obviously, right? Second, it helps them to be less wrong.
Dude, who actually read this book and found it compelling? Who read this book?
I have no fucking idea, but it's him and Peter Boghossian, right? Like Boghossian is like all over this, man. So I'm very, very sussy about Boghossian, right? But you've got to understand that the way this is framed is that they conflate faith and ideology, right? So they see literally no difference between, say, being an Orthodox Christian and being like a trans activist. Because there is no truth claim involved.
It's a false equivocation.
Yeah, but I assume, I mean, obviously there are truth claims involved, right? Because second, it helps them to be less wrong. So he is making a truth claim there, right? If God is truly a word that means something that is not accurately accounted for by the mythology that we call theism, even if my arguments about what might be go amiss, then beliefs about God are always wrong because they fail even to talk about the correct thing. Like the fucking like brass neck on this motherfucker. A stopped clock, they say, is right twice a day, but a correctly functioning clock is set to the wrong time is never right.
What fortune cookie did he get that out of?
Fuck knows. Uprooting faith means helping people learn to develop and rely upon more effective ways of coming to knowledge, including the moral attitudes and communities that religion often serves as a shortcut method to developing. Fostering this kind of change in the long run is very likely to benefit both individuals and the societies they inhabit. Now, I do want to point out, right, like this shit was written like basically the peak of like new atheism, right? Where like, all the fucking Sam Harris types are like, what we need to do is get rid of religion. I mean, not Judaism, obviously, right? Like Moodyism, like you can leave that, right? But Christianity and Islam, definitely, right? Is uprooting faith possible? Emphatically, yes. Oh, goody. People lose their faiths every day. I lost my faith. Yeah, gee, James, we couldn't fucking tell.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh my God. I feel bad for him, man. Whatever must have like made him lose his faith must have been like earth shattering. Like he freaking like, anyway. Many of my friends and family members have also lost their faiths. Many public figures have lost their faiths. Many readers of this book,
yeah, we get it.
Perhaps even you have lost their faith as well.
This guy.
There are compelling stories about religious figures losing their faith, such as former evangelical ministers.
Yeah, people have trouble. Yes, people have trouble with their faith sometimes, James. We understand that. Yes.
And John W. Loftus, now a prolific author of many books, hoping to help people abandon their faith, especially in Christianity, not in Moodyism, though. Right? We're not going to touch that, right? Stories of lost faith are not uncommon. In fact, they're very common. Millions of people worldwide have lost their faith and in doing so taken a major step away from believing unjustified assertions. It happens all the time, and these stories are profound sources of hope. Faith can be abandoned, and anyone can do it given the right circumstances. He's just fuck me. Oh, mate. And the funny thing is, right, for all of his like raving against like the trans thing, it is the loss of this kind of like stuff, the loss of any kind of objective morality that makes this crap possible. So, like, oh, we can be a rational society without faith. Fast forward 5 years, what the fuck did we get?
Or, I mean, even look at James Lindsay's community. Even just look at his own digital household and what's going on.
So he then cites Boghossian, who apparently wrote a book, A Manual for Creating Atheists.
Interesting.
Disavow. 3 fantastic tools for uprooting faith. All of them rely upon honesty. Honesty about what we can claim to know automatically induces doubt, and doubt is the antithesis of faith. Methods that will cause a person to doubt his faith are the only real way to uproot it.
Wow, that feels evil.
Yeah, it is. This is
because there's there's a way for people to push religion on another person, right? I mean, like, oh, that's you're being pushy, and this sounds subversive.
It's subversive as fuck.
Because then what do you do? I mean, it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible in a way for me to posit reasons why I don't believe in God. Okay. Because what if it is convincing? What if it is compelling? What if I do by accident, by just the thought of it, convince someone, or I have such a doubt, or I make such an argument that they can't answer and they don't find a satisfactory answer for, that they stop believing. Well, now what? Now what happens when they don't believe in God? And like for you to not believe in God and then have nothing to go to, like that is
again, right? Like this is the Western disease, right? That like God lives in the head, right? God doesn't live in the head. God lives in the heart, right? I've said this to you before. There is an entire vibes-based level to Christianity,
that really
Orthodox Christianity, that like a lot of people in the West like completely miss. That it is the eyes of the heart that are much more important than the eyes of the head.
It has helped me, and I talked about this on Sunday in my third week of Atheist Lent. Hour-long ramble, Bill Burr rambling to myself on Sunday, where to not intellectualize it, to not give it an image, to just give it a feeling was probably much closer to God and give me much more of an understanding. When I conceptualize it, or when there's a time where I'm receptive to feeling that, if that makes sense.
Well, absolutely. I mean, imagine trying to like logically understand the divine. Like,
it's stupid. It's stupid.
It is. It's totally fucking stupid. And the
vibes base has been helping me.
The West gets into this trouble all the time. It goes back like a long way. Master Shake, great comment. Critical Christianity deconstructivism. Ooh. That's exactly what this is.
That's a Lindsay A. logger right there. Yep.
Mate, fucking shout out Master Shake. Also a Lindsay watcher from way back, right?
Yep.
So, basically, like, how do we introduce doubt into the religion, into the religious? Boghossian's method works best by questioning the method by which someone claims to know something as well. So you're introducing like critical ontology. Is that no wonder he knows so much about fucking all this, critical theory bullshit. For example, if someone were to reply that they know God loves him because the Bible instructs it, asking questions that may introduce doubt in the Bible's final authority can be helpful, such as, quote, do you think it's possible that the Bible got this fact wrong, given that it seems to have misidentified bats as a kind of bird in Leviticus? You will notice, right, like when they're doing this kind of like crap, they always go to like crap like this in the Old Testament, right? They never reference the fucking Gospels, right? Now, this is what I mean, okay? If you are seeing with the eyes of the heart, if you are going to liturgy, right? Like if you are taking communion and someone comes up and says, well, actually, right? Like, how do you know that God loves you, right? You don't say because it's in the Bible. You say because you feel it. You feel it strongly with your heart every time you go to liturgy, every single time you take communion, right? Like you experience it, right? It's not this logical thing that you can be fucking argued out of, right? This is just so fucking evil, man. Oh my God.
Okay. So let's get scooting.
Yeah, let's get scooting. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to, that's cool. We're just on the hour. It's all good. It's all good. I just found that really fucking like hideously evil. So I just thought I would like share that all with you.
Very intentional as well.
Okay, let's see what else have we got here. Okay, right. So let's do a couple of super chats. New gem for $10. Thank you very much,
baby.
I never thought I would see Razor Fist blowing the ghost of John McCain. Newsfist, can you please get your cousin to quit slurping the military-industrial complex dry in public? Sorry, myself and Razor Fist, we don't talk. Ever since he blamed everything on the Tricoms and, got that jaw implant so that he can more greater sort of like deep throat the ghost of John McCain.
No chewing.
I'm afraid so. I'm afraid. Yes, I'm afraid not. New GM again for another $10. God, look at him go, mate. The thing that made James Lindsay lose his faith was earth-shattering. He learned he could play with himself, and the priests surprisingly weren't into it. Oh, God.
That's a God-fearing man that said that, okay, fellas?
Dude. And Cubics for $5, 5 Canadian loonies, thank you. If God is real, then why bad thing, Fist? You got him.
Yeah, Fist. Can Jesus Christ take a shit so big it'll clog the pipes? You don't know that, do you? You don't have an answer, do you, Mr. Godman?
If God exists, why bad thing? Mate, I can't even, dude.
Mic drop.
I'm gonna have to think about that, man. Right, super chats achieved. Let's get on to what's the next thing we've got? Oh,
the title. I put on my little
title.
Sherlock Holmes hat and everything for it.
Yes. Now this, of course, is the battle that's going on, sort of broadly speaking, in America at the moment. On the one hand, you have the kosher centrists who are now basically melded with the neoconservatives.
Wait a minute. I'm getting better at the Rumble chats. Let me just put one up real quickly.
Okay.
It's the night for $1. You can read that because I forget how to say that.
Nostra Aetite was put together by a Moorish convert priest who left the priesthood after it was declared dogma. Jay Dyer talks about this often. Yes, indeed. He was also gay. He got in, subverted the church, then went out and lived happily ever after with his bisexual lover. Just the kind of person. I'm shit you not. I
know.
Right?
Just wanted to add that. Make sure we fully express that.
Also, Agile Walrus.
Oh sure.
Hey, Mr. Walrus. How you doing, mate? Protestantism has left the West with a lifeless form of Christianity. Core concepts such as theosis were never taught. Therefore, adherence to the guiding light of the church is lost. They have convulsions in mega churches. Yeah, I can't really argue with that, mate.
Unfortunately,
to be honest.
Right.
On the other hand, there are like based Lutherans and stuff, and and I don't want to throw shade on those guys, and I'm pretty sure they fucking hate the mega churches and the Paula White bullshit as well. But yes,
it's a tough sell in your denomination where you're like, oh well, not that type of my denomination. It's like, okay, well, the Ortho Bros never really had to have these apologetics. Okay,
yeah, that's true. That's true. So as we were saying, the kosher centrists are now basically becoming the neocons. I guess in a way they always were, right? And these are the kinds of memes that they're doing, and they suck. Misinformation.
Come on.
Holding the Bible, saying Christ is king. Jesus then appears, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness. And she is like, silence, moo.
Incoherent.
Right? Those don't follow Jesus. I don't know. Like, has anyone explained? Maybe these are, the people who still believe that like Christianity, that Moodyism is just like sort of Christianity light. It isn't, right? Like they're very, very, very different.
Do you agree with that? Why would she disagree with that? Wouldn't she agree with that? This is like the left memeing right now. It's incoherent, dude. Of course, Churchill fan thinks that.
And we have this from
Intro us. Yes.
Joel Webben.
So essentially what happened is that he had on Jake Shields. And so Joel Webben wanted to actually kind of evangelize, right? Jake Shields doesn't believe in God. Jake Shields is retarded legally. I can prove it. And so he wanted to talk to him and really try to have more of a conversation, more of an in-depth conversation about God. And then Jake Shields, as Jake Shields does, was like, yeah, it was got a moo. And, you know, I hate saying that, like, it went viral. It set the internet on fire. What it did was open a conversation with a lot of people. And so I really wanted to cover it on stream because I want to know what to say to this, right? I'm a rhetorician, so to speak, as a content creator, and I support the Christians. And so, you know, I don't have answers for this. So I wanted, you know, we don't have all the answers, okay? We have certain things that are pretty verifiably true, and we like to just give you some food for thought. We are not the arbiters on this. So yeah.
Well, I mean, in terms of the political aspect to this question, I can answer definitively. Like the way this is being like flung around basically is if you're a Christian, you have to support rabbinical Moodyism and you have to support the state of Israel. No, you don't. In fact, there's far more evidence, particularly among the early church fathers, that a core precept of Jesus's message was to be against rabbinical Moodyism. I mean, shit, just read the Gospels. I mean, oh, mate, does anyone like read?
Can you read them to me if I put up my feety pajamas just before bedtime?
Sure, Artie, of course. Okay. Of course. I'll read you the Gospel before bed.
Oh, Uncle Fist is going to read me another story again.
Okay, let's play this.
That's why I don't want to just give a simple answer. Everybody was, you know, getting upset over the last couple of days because I hosted a conversation with Jake Shields, and Jake Shields asked me, you know, point blank, do you believe that Jesus was a Jew? And I didn't want, it's like, all right, I've got 1 hour to talk to Jake Shields about Christ, and I want to preach Christ and him crucified. I don't want to spend the next hour talking about the Khazarian theory or the Edomite theory or this, that, and the other. And so I did my best to kind of quickly move on from the question into, you know, my question, which was, what is the gospel?
Well, just do a Jordan Peterson. It depends what you mean by Jew, right?
Right, exactly. But there's a sense in which that's true. So yeah. If we're asking the question, is Jesus the promised seed of Abraham?
Yes.
Is Jesus, does he come from the line of Ishmael or Isaac and Jacob? Isaac and Jacob.
Right. Yeah.
Is Jesus of the lineage of the line of the tribe of Judah?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Is Jesus an Israelite, a true Israelite?
Yeah.
Yes. Is he a Hebrew? Yes. If Jew is used synonymously for all Israelites in terms of according to the flesh, then yes, Jesus was a Jew. In the way that the word was actually used at the time of Jesus, it had shifted over the previous centuries to where it became more of a placeholder simply for Hebrews as a whole. Right. So anyone who had descended from any of the 12 tribes of Jacob, whose name was changed by God himself to Israel. So any Israelite was considered a Jew at the time of Jesus. A few centuries earlier, though, a Jew was more of a specific term for a Judean, yeah. in which case Jesus is not a Jew because he was a Galilean. He was not a Judean.
But what Jake Shields means is Jesus a Jew in the same way that Benjamin Netanyahu,
and that's the final piece that I was building
the Polish Satanist.
Exactly. Right. Is Jesus a Talmudic Ashkenazi?
The Polish Satanist.
Well, I mean, I love that as a response as well. Like, was Jesus a moo? And it's like, is Benjamin Netanyahu a moo?
It's so funny because like Calvin Robinson like literally moved to the States from the UK because like he was getting like hassled and was in danger of arrest for like saying stuff like this. I was like, fuck this, I'm off to the States. Yeah.
And the answer is, of course, no.
Well, and the problem is, if you look to just even the scriptures, if you look to the Gospel of John or John's epistles, the only time he uses the term Jews is to identify the enemies of Christ.
Yeah.
And so it's actually a label saying the Jews. You can see it, I think, 20, 30 times throughout his gospel. So is Jesus that type of Jew, the Jew that rejects Christ? Of course not, right? Jesus is a true Jew, if we want to get clarifying on what a true Jew means. But again, because the word is convoluted, it has so many definitions, you have to be careful and you have to have these complex conversations to clarify what you actually mean.
Right. No, I'd say no, he's not a Jew. He is the Christ. He is the King of the Jews. The Jews should be worshiping him, but he doesn't worship himself. He worships them.
Oh, that's very anti-citrus.
Yeah, you have to get out. You got to leave town if you're going to say stuff like that.
Oh, you can't say that, Calvin. The idea that the moos should be worshiping Jesus, mate. And by the way, I think, chat will have to correct me here, but I believe this was one of the upshots of Nostra Aetate to the Catholics, the idea that the moos could be saved without Jesus, which is like the idea that like any pope would like say that is, you know, ridiculous if you know like history.
Father. So no, he's not a Jew.
Yeah. And so the point is, it's a much more complex question than people are willing to admit, especially because these days everybody who wants you to answer the question is either on one side of the aisle or the other.
It's a bad faith question.
It's a bad faith question, and I don't even mean necessarily from Jake Shields, but if I had said Jesus is a Jew,
right,
there'd be a whole other group that would be just giddy. I mean, they'd be, you know,
there have been rabbis who've said.
He really wants to hit that younger demo, and I'm here for it. Okay, the man's making an effort.
Oh, he's like pulling an Anna Kasparian. Hilarious.
Rabbis have said, you know, your Messiah was a Jew, therefore you should worship all of us Jews. They've literally said that. So it's twisting of our faith.
That's exactly right. And so, yeah, and I think the better question is, if we're saying Jew as a stand-in for Israelites according to the flesh, descended from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of the line of Judah, yes. Of the Messianic Davidic line, yes, absolutely. But the real question is, if that defines Jew, and personally I think it should, then the real question is Bibi Netanyahu a Jew?
No.
So that's my point, is the reason why the question is difficult to answer is because I think you either have to do one or the other. You either have to say, yes, Jesus is a Jew, and all these people aren't. Or, yes, they're Jews, in which case, if that's how we're defining Jew, Jesus is not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
terrific starting point. Now, there's many different directions to go in, okay? You can get super theological about it, but I mean, we're going to settle the abortion debate before we settle the theological debate, depending on who's arguing there. But I do believe Fist does have some tidbits of history for us.
Yeah, I do. I've got some stuff. We'll play this clip first. I think this is from like a different thing. Now, obviously, Calvin is Anglican. I think, or he was Anglican, at least when he was like in the UK, but the Anglican Church has suffered greatly. It's, you know, it's they've got a woman archbishop now, and it's
just you know, same thing happened to the Orthodox Christians, right? In their churches, you got a woman running liturgy now in some churches, right?
I'm not aware of that happening.
That doesn't really happen with Orthodox Christians.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's I think the autocephalous nature of it, the fact that there are like sort of a bunch of like little small churches, it makes it like harder to subvert in one go. But I'm sure they're like trying.
Is Jesus a Jew in the same way that Benjamin Netanyahu?
And that's the final piece that I was building
the Polish Satanist.
Exactly. Right. Is Jesus a Talmudic Ashkenazi? No. And the answer is, of course, no.
Well, and the problem is, if you look to just even the scripture.
Did we just watch this?
Yeah, I think we did. Right. Okay. So I didn't realize. Okay.
Not a problem.
Now people have been like arguing about this like crap for like ages. There is the genetic distance. You know, most of the Ashkenazi, of course, are like Polish, Russian, Ukrainian. The Sephardim are basically sort of Spanish or North African. And you've got the Mizrahi are like actually like native to the general area. But you could make an argument that the sort of the closest genetic relatives are, you know, Samaritans, Palestinian Christians, essentially, right?
Yeah.
The Druze, the Karaites in Iraq, the Karaites are like pretty interesting. They're basically like the Torah Muz, right? So they don't believe in the Talmud, and the Israelis do not like them. Let's see, what else have we got here? Then there is, you know, the question of, you know, what it actually like say in the Bible. The Song of Solomon, my beloved wife is white and ruddy, the chiefest among 10,000. Her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. 1 Samuel 16:12. David was ruddy with beautiful eyes. These are not descriptions of dark-skinned Middle Easterners. These are descriptions of white people. Now, it's not in any way like a stretch to consider that people that we would broadly define as European had managed to like cross over into that part of the world, right? Like, you know, there's a long history. It's not like impossible.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess you call it like the white Israelites or whatever. There is
The
the
Israelites.
yeah, the Israelites. There is the contemporary descriptions of Jesus. Lentulus' letter presented an official report to the Emperor Tiberius. In this letter, Lentulus describes the condemned man named Jesus of Nazareth as having a noble and lively face with fair and slightly wavy hair, black and strongly curving eyebrows, intense penetrating blue eyes, and an expression of wondrous grace. His nose is rather long. His beard is almost blonde, although not very long. His hair is quite long, and he has never seen a pair of scissors. His neck is slightly inclined, so he never appears to be bitter or arrogant. His tanned face is the color of ripe corn and well proportioned. It gives the impression of gravity and wisdom, sweetness and good, and is completely lacking in any sign of anger. So, I mean, I don't know, right? Clearly, the real question essentially is the political question, right? So this is from Catholic World Report. I don't know who writes this, but this is a good example of the sort of Nostra Aetate end of Catholicism, right? This is from October last year. Anti-Septicism is a betrayal of Christianity. For Mu hatred is Christ hatred. So this summarizes essentially, right, the kosher centrist, the sort of neocon Christian Zionist position, right? Again, Second Vatican Council, 60 years ago, in 1965. Oh, so 65, not 63. Sorry, my mistake. The Second Vatican Council adopted and Pope Paul VI promulgated the Declaration on the Relationship of the Church to Non-Christian Religions, known by the first words in the official Latin text as Nostra Aetate in our age. I chart this sometimes rocky passage through Vatican II in To Sanctify the World. Suffice it to note here that the obstinate refusal of some Arab states to concede the reality and permanence of Israel as a Jewish state injected itself into the council's discussion, creating difficulties. So right off the bat, this is about the modern state of Israel.
Yep.
Right? Fucking dude, this is not whatever. Nonetheless, and in no small part because of the indefatigable work of Pope Pius XII's former confessor, the German biblical scholar Cardinal Augustin Bay, Nostra Aetate made it across the finish line, and thank God it did, given the resurgence of the cultural cancer of anti-Septicism today. At Charlie Kirk's memorial service, Tucker Carlson.
Interesting.
Mate, this is October last year. They're already gunning for Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson continued his pell-mell descent down the slippery slope of vileness by attributing Jesus' death to the hummus eaters. Lots of people eat hummus. What are you saying there, right? So it is well that we have the Catholic Church's solemn declaration that, quote, neither all moves indiscriminately at the time of Christ, nor moves today can be charged with the crimes committed during Christ's passion. Okay? And the unambiguous affirmation that the Church, quote, deplores all hatreds, persecutions, and displays of anti-Septicism leveled at any time or from any source against the moves. Now, look, if you know anything about the history of the church in Europe, this is a big about face, right? Like a huge U-turn, right? And I highly suspect that this was sold as this idea of progress. We're going to get over the sins of the past. Everyone's going to live together. I'm pretty sure that's why this is tied up with the whole concept of ecumenism, right? Which is the idea that, well, actually, bro, everyone worships the same God. We just have different ways to get there. That's not fucking Christianity, right? Jesus doesn't say the way to God is, maybe through me, but also through Islam and Hinduism and especially Buddhism.
It's all the same kind of,
Yeah, it's all the same, right?
Reform Christianity.
All the the same. By the way, this whole idea of ecumenism is massively globo homo.
I can sense it. It smells like it.
It's totally. Just as importantly, we have the council's acknowledgement of the religious debt that Catholicism owes to Moodyism, right?
What?
If it weren't for the Moos, would you even have Catholics, bros, right?
Yeah,
The Church of
dude,
Christ acknowledges.
I need to see some like ortho archbishop taking a knee like this. Okay, if anyone wants to push back against the orthos, okay, I'm curious to see it.
I just don't think you can because of John Chrysostom, right? Like he wrote, was it Adversus Judaeos? Like the early Orthodox Church fathers were very, very unflattering about the Moos, right? Like if they were straight up, right? Like they're not good. Stay the fuck away. They're bad news. And so yeah. The Church of Christ acknowledges that the beginnings of her faith and her election are found already among the patriarchs, Moses and the prophets. She professes that all who believe in Christ are included in the same patriarch's call, and likewise that the salvation of the church is mysteriously foreshadowed by the chosen people's exodus from the land of bondage. This is why they're really against what's called like replacement theology. The idea that sort of the coming of Jesus like overwrote or replaced the previous system of law that was Pharisaic Moodyism, despite the fact that that's clearly exactly what happened, because that's what Jesus was doing. He was struggling against the excessive legalism and overbearing and sort of, very, very shady nature of the Pharisees that were like running Jerusalem.
Right, but if they really believe Jesus was a moo, then why do they hate the guy so much? Why do they call him Jesus of Nazareth and not like Christ or God?
Well, because the Christ means the Messiah, right? And the Moos believe, of course, that he wasn't the Messiah, right? And they're still waiting.
I mean, you have to hate him. I mean,
Well,
you have to really hate the guy so much, Yeah. I'm just saying they really hate the guy, okay?
They really
on one hand,
hate...
he's one of us on one hand, but on the other hand, they venerate a Down syndrome moo more than they venerate Christ.
They don't.
So what does it mean in the end, even if he is a moo? What does that mean then?
Well, it means obviously, right, that like, you have to like listen to the Moos when they tell you about Christianity.
Right.
Right? Like, actually, don't you realize like your thing is like much older? No, it fucking isn't, right? The Talmud fucking wasn't even written to like 400 AD, right? Ooh. Like, I mean, it's bullshit. It's all a fugazi, basically. It's all a big fugazi, right? Now, someone, I think it was Phoenician was, I was talking to him about this, right? And he was basically saying that the reason why the Old Testament is important is because it sort of like shows essentially like kind of like the child phase of sort of like the people like the Israelites, right? And that they just followed the law like slavishly without thinking of any of the deeper kind of stuff. So he was saying that the point about the story of like Isaac and Jacob, the story where he takes his like son up to like be sacrificed. And God says, yeah, you got to sacrifice your son. And then at the last moment, like an angel comes down and is like, psych, like, don't do that. Phoenician was saying that, this is meant to illustrate how like you shouldn't slavishly like follow the law. I don't know about that, but I have always found like these stories in the Old Testament to be just really fucking weird. I've talked about how I sort of have some sympathy with the sort of Marcionite idea, but I think Phoenician made a really, really good angle on that, and basically saying that the Old Testament is a example essentially of what not to do, right? And by having that example of what not to do, you can use it to contrast what you should do, right? And I have sympathy for that, right? So I mean, basically, right? It's classic. No. Oh yeah, it's literally even in Wikipedia, right? Like how the Moos like basically like wrote Nostra Aetate, right? Where is it? So they had this like moo come in and he like apparently they've been working on this for like years, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Talking with Benai Barith, like coming in, like helping them like draft stuff. You know, wait. Where is this?
What are you looking for?
Oh, I'm just I was in here somewhere. But basically, like they were just talking like how it was just very, very much the whole thing about Vatican II was very, very much about, right, like we have to stop, we have to change our attitude towards the moose, right? Like, so, you know, we have to like stop talking about the deicide. And I mean, there's like a whole section in Nostra Aetite on the attitude of Catholics towards non-Christians and especially towards the moose. And a 5th chapter on religious liberty, all of this like kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then there was a thing about mending the schism between Catholicism and Orthodoxy. I don't think that's going to like happen personally, but you know,
I think we're close.
You there?
Yeah, I said I think we're close. Then you went dead silent, so I thought I crossed the line.
Oh right, no, maybe my internet like balked out.
You sound fine.
So do we want to play that thing by Brilliant? We got like half an hour left on this.
Yeah, we do.
You got timestamps then?
Really just you get the link to the video, right? So 11:15.
11:15. Now, this is really, really good.
Go and watch this. Go and watch
this. Go
and
watch this. You can find just put Vrillium into YouTube search. Apparently it has multiple names. My version is the Bizarre World of the Talmud. What was the version, the name of it that you got? It was like different. Anyway, Vrillium does a really, really good breakdown of what's, you know, the stuff in the Talmud. He's got like a very, very even-handed style.
Yeah,
his Hebrew pronunciation.
Very quickly. Mine says the Koim's Guide to the Talmud. I don't know why it says two different things.
Yeah, I don't know. A/B testing, right? Like,
sure, just so everyone knows.
He's got a very, very even-handed style. His Hebrew pronunciation is like great. He clearly like knows a lot about this stuff. And it's, you know, yeah, it's great video. Check. We're gonna play some of it, but I highly encourage you to check out the rest.
Of old, they weren't just religious teachers. Rabbinic Judaism, because it surrounds rabbis, the rabbis are seen to have like a spiritual power. That power being kind of like equal to that of God. The Jewish perspective on God is not the same as the Christian or even the Muslim perspective on God, where Christians and Muslims believe that God is this ultimate deity, this single monotheistic ultimate deity, whether it be the Muslims' Tawhid or the Christians' Trinity. They believe it's one singular entity that rules over everything and nothing else is equal to it. Jewish perspective is that God is kind of this overarching energy, like a sentient energy.
This is your reformed Moodyism. This is your spiritual hippie, right?
Yep. And by the way, this is also like very spiritualism, like very occulty, and there is so much crazy occult shit in the Talmud, right? Necromancy, fortune telling,
the occult. That's what the occult is.
Yeah, the summoning this and that, like it all like comes from like the Talmud, like, and I'm sure, in fact, I am 100% sure that is how all that crap got mainstreamed into the West, right? You know how it was like really
into celebrities, like Kabbalah centers for Madonna.
But not only that, there was a big sort of outbreak of it, you know, in like the 60s and then like late in the 80s. Where you just had like tons of people getting into that shit with very, very bad results.
That of the Jewish people, that like instead of being above the Jewish people, it's like behind the Jewish people. It's pushing the Jewish people forward. Like there are several occasions in the Talmud wherein the rabbis get into a debate with God and then win.
Dude, his production is great too. Like every time he's speaking, he's showing it on screen. So it's quick you hit the pause on it. It's wild.
Now that is chutzpah, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, actually, we argued with God. We disputated with God and we won. Yeah, well, it didn't save your asses in the Disputation of Paris or the Disputation of Prague, right? Or all the other freaking times when, like, you know, you had got into a disputation.
Yeah, but
in European
Fist,
cities,
they've beaten God. They can beat him again. Okay, this is what these people believe. All right, now you wonder where this becoming God comes from. You wonder where this making rules to get around what God says comes from.
But also, right, like I don't know if William touches on this, but this is a really sort of crucial point, right? In Christianity, like, God, although he is more powerful than Satan, is not the same as Satan, right? Like, he is opposed to Satan. In Judaism, right, good and evil are basically part of the same fundamental source, right? So what really is good and evil? Well, really, they're kind of like the same thing, right? And you see this.
It comes from the same place. It comes from the same person, right? It comes from the same entity.
Well, the same emanation, you know, in a Kabbalistic sense, right? Like, so if you go to the top of the Kabbalah, right, like I should probably do a video on this at some point. But like
that is, I should just have a drop of you saying that at this point. It's like literally every single time we stream at this point.
Yeah, well, it's weird, and it's so freaking mooish. Like you see it, like it leads, like Kabbalah like leads into socialism. There's like a ton of like socialists who are like massively into Kabbalah. This whole like repairing the world thing is Kabbalah. Like it all goes back to the fucking Kabbalah.
It's up to them, okay? I swear, I want to find the origins of the path to hell is paved with good intentions. It has to refer to the moose. It has to.
Yeah.
Because they always insist that they're doing this for your own good. But like in early history, I don't think cavemen were doing that.
We're just trying to repair the world, don't you know? Once it's repaired, everything will be better for everyone. Except it's never better for everyone. It's just better for them. It's funny how that works.
Can you leave now? That's nice. We want you to leave now.
Like I shit you not. There are several times wherein the rabbis like debate God and then win the debate. And God is like, oh, you rabbis, you got me. And then the law gets changed. A great example is the story of Onkelos. Rabbi Onkelos, very important, famous, early Jewish rabbi, believed to be a convert. Let me note that. Obviously, Onkelos is not a Jewish name. He was Greek. They believe he was a Greek convert. Now, we don't actually know whether or not this Rabbi Onkelos existed, but we do know that there were some Greeks who converted to Judaism at the time because there was a Jewish community living in modern-day Greece. For all intents and purposes here, Onkelos is part of that community. And specifically, his origins are traced a lot in the Talmud because he played a pretty big role, supposedly, in helping compose the Mishnah. So they tell his origin story in the book in grave detail. Onkelos, the son of Titus's sister, wanted to convert to Judaism. He went and raised Titus from the grave through necromancy and said unto him, who is most important in that world where you are now? Referring to hell. Let me note, hell and the afterlife is real in Judaism. You might hear a lot from like Reform Jews that there is no hell in Judaism because it's not directly mentioned in the Old Testament. There absolutely is hell in Judaism. They talk about it a lot in the Talmud, like a lot. They call it Gehenna. It's actually where Arabs get the word Jahannam from, in reference to the Valley of Gehenna, a real place on earth where the Israelites used to burn their trash and like shit. So he says, who's most important in the next world? Like who's honored in heaven? Titus said unto him, the Jewish people. Onkelos asked, should I then attach myself to them here in this world? Meaning, should he become Jewish? Titus said to him, their commandments are numerous, and you will not be able to fulfill them. It is best that you do as follows. Go out and battle against them in that world, and you will become chief. As it is written, her adversaries have become the chief, which means that anyone who distresses Israel will become the chief, meaning like a great leader in the world. Onkelos said to him, but what is the punishment of that man in the next world? Meaning, how do you get punished if you do that? That which he decreed against himself as he undergoes the following. Every day his ashes are gathered, and they judge him, and they burn him, and they scatter him over the 7 seas. So they torture him, they like pick him up, judge him every day, and every day they go, yeah, you're guilty, and then scatter him into ashes again, and then send him into the ocean. That's the punishment that Titus received.
Funny from like a legalistic people how it already seems like this is the person's sentence. They're already sentenced from such a legalistic people.
And just the casual references to necromancy, right? Like, oh yeah, you know, we like you know, brought this dude back from the dead and like asked him questions again, which is like a big like occult thing. Fucking don't do that.
No, surely there's so many things that predate it, right?
For fighting the Jewish people. Onkelos then went and raised Balaam from the grave through necromancy. Balaam, let me note, is a demon. If you're a Christian or a Muslim, you believe that Balaam is like a demon. He said unto him, who is most important in that world where you are now? Balaam said to him, the Jewish people. Onkelos asked him, should I then attach myself to them here in this world? Okay, we know, we get it, okay? Balaam said to him, you shall not seek their peace or their welfare all the days. Onkelos said to him, what is the punishment of that man? Balaam said to him, he is cooked in boiling semen as he caused Israel to engage in licentious behavior with the daughters of Moab. This is again in reference to the story of the Bible, Book of Numbers with Balaam. Now, here's the big one. All of you have been waiting for this. I know this is the one you're thinking of. Onkelos then went and raised Jesus the Nazarene, Jesus Christ. Let me note, he is referred to throughout the Talmud several times as Jesus the Nazarene or Jesus of Nazareth. This is, again, mind you, Christ means Messiah. And obviously Jews don't believe that he's the Messiah, but he gets mentioned as Jesus the Nazarene, which is to say, Jesus, that guy from Nazareth. Jesus said to him, their welfare you shall seek, their misfortune you shall not seek. For anyone who touches them is regarded as if he were touching the apple of his eye. Basically, he's warning Onkelos, saying, I touched them, I messed with them, don't do it. Like, it's really bad. They are the apple of his eye. They are God's favorite. Onkelos said to him, what is the punishment for you? Jesus said to him, he is punished with boiling excrement. As the master said, anyone who mocks the words of the sages, the rabbis, will be sentenced to boiling excrement. And that was his sin as he mocked the words of the sages. The Gemara then comments, come and see the difference between the sinners of Israel and the prophets of the nations of the world. As Balaam, who
apparently we got rated by Hello Listener. I would like to remind everybody that is an ortho bro again. And for anyone just joining right now, we are listening to Verillium really, and when I say listening, really just listening and learning right now. There's nothing to even comment on. I'm just trying to absorb what he's saying. Really describing how the Moos, or as they would say in his community, the Amish or the Tangus, are very stinky, and they're hiding what they're really saying about Christ. So just to welcome you all.
I mean, what do you even say to this? Like, oh, you're just like, oh my god, this shit is so fucking schizo. Like, it's just like crazy, man. Right.
Was a prophet, wished Israel harm, whereas Jesus the Nazarene, who was a Jewish sinner, sought their well-being. Now, that's important to note because they're saying here, Balaam actively tried to hurt Israel, the Jewish people in the Bible, and he's punished. Now, they claim that Jesus was seeking the well-being of Jews, but he was wrong. He wasn't the Messiah, and he was wrong, and he made fun of the rabbis, or really, he questioned the rabbis. In trying to do what was right, he questioned the rabbis, which was the worst thing you can do, and that's why he receives the worst punishment of all. So yes, they do, if you've heard that they believe he's boiling in shit, yes, not only do they believe that specifically because he questioned the rabbis. The questioning that's being referred to here, if you read the New Testament, you know, when Jesus speaks to the Pharisees, he who is without sin shall cast the first stone, all that is what they're referring to. Because he did that, Jews believe he is burning in like a pot, I guess, of boiling shit.
I mean, this makes, the general attitude, like you can totally see it, right? You know, Jesus is like, he's like healing people on the Sabbath. He's like questioning the rabbis, like going around, be like, who the hell do you think you are? Right? I mean, there's like a whole chunk in the Gospels where the Pharisees like, who do you think you are to be like healing people on the Sabbath? And Jesus is like, well, you know, I'm God, right? Rabbi's like, no, you're not you. Nothing ever fucking changes, man. I swear to fucking God, nothing ever changes. They are the same people now as they were then.
I mean, that's the OG. Nothing ever changes.
Yeah, it really is the OG. Nothing ever changes. Like you just, yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so shall we move on from this, or
I was just sitting there watching it at a certain point. I can't make fun of it, so I was just sitting there watching it, which, you know, watch a clip of that. We're just gonna sit here and watch the entire thing if we just keep going with it.
Yeah. We don't want to do that. So what Vrillium is referencing there, by the way, is the Mishnah Torah, which was written by Maimonides. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Who is sort of like renowned as like the greatest sort of Jewish scholar ever. He codified the Gemara, if I've got this like right, which is sort of like the commentary on the Talmud. And basically, he sort of put it into like an easy to understand form, I guess, right? I mean, of course, when you're talking Moodyism, right? Like, what do you mean it's hard to understand? We reduced it from 1 million pages down to only 100,000, right? So, this is from like Grok. I just, asked for quotes from the Mishnah Torah about Jesus. Jesus of Nazareth, who aspired to be the Messiah and was executed by the court, was also alluded to in Daniel's prophecies. The vulgar among your people shall exalt themselves in an attempt to fulfill the vision, but they shall stumble. Okay, so basically, right, like, saying Jesus isn't the real thing. Can there be a greater stumbling block than Christianity? Well, I guess, for Pharisaic Moodyism, then definitely, right? Because, rather than being this like highly legalistic, like structured thing where you're just like, we obey the law, like no matter how retarded it is, right? Christianity is about like intent, like what's in your heart, outcomes, all this kind of like stuff, right? And the movies are like, no, who cares about the outcome? We here to respect the law. Who interprets the law? Well, of course we do. I'm the most learned, rabbi there is, right? And this, of course, is the fundamental problem. There are so many holes and interpretations and disputations, and you just wind up, with the kind of legal system, basically, that we've got a lot through the West right now, where the spirit of the law has just become completely discarded.
Well,
and you
also, when we talk about legalism, I mean, who's typically lawyers across the West as well,
Yeah.
Seems to be one institution that I don't even know has been infiltrated, but almost built when you look at some of these laws that we have.
So in contrast, Christianity caused the Jews to be slain by the sword, their remnants to be scattered and humbled, the Torah itself to be altered, and the majority of the world to err and serve a God other than the Lord, by which he means Hashem. Nevertheless, the intent of the creator of the world is not within the power of man to comprehend, for his ways are not our ways, nor his thoughts our thoughts. Ultimately, all the deeds of Jesus of Nazareth and that Ishmaelite Muhammad who rose after him will only serve to prepare the way for the Mashiach's coming and the improvement of the entire world, motivating the nations to serve God together. So when people say that from the point of view of rabbinical Moodyism, they really believe that, the Jews and the Christians and the Muslims will sort of fight and defeat each other, and then eventually the Moos will like rule the whole world from Jerusalem. A lot of this is coming from Maimonides, basically, right? So let's do some super chats, shall we? Okay. Deep Calm for $5. Thank you very much. These MFers really trying to early life, my man. Jesus. Yeah, for real. Yeah. New GM for $10.
Thank you, bro.
New GM. We have been reading the Gospel of John in the top secret chat almost every week after the Tuesday streams. It is basically dunk after dunk on the Pharisees, who would later establish rabbinic Moodyism. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right. Like the Gospels are very, very unflattering about the Pharisees for obvious reasons, right? Knight James for $10. Thank you very much. Hey guys, pray for God to provide me courage and wisdom. I'm going to go to an Orthodox church in my town, and I come from a family of staunch Protestants. I sense some tense conversations ahead. I hope it goes well for you, mate. Just go in there and just relax and just sort of like bask in the vibes, right? Get some blessed bread after the service, and just watch it with the eyes of the heart.
Is this the religious equivalent of like seeing another woman is going to a different denomination? Where you're like, I'm gonna have to. I don't know how I'm gonna break it to him. It's this is like spiritual adultery just to go to a different denomination.
I mean, I don't really know. I mean, because I grew up atheist, right? But I imagine if I said to my parents, oh yeah, I'm sort of, I'm very Orthodox now, they'd basically treat it the same way. They look at you like, what's wrong with you? You stupid. Like, don't you realize it's 2026? We have digital watches now, right? Like, why do you want to believe in God, right? Don't you know we've solved all the problems, right? Like history has ended, right? We're, striding forward into a new progressive era. It's like, yeah, well, how the fuck is that going for you? It's going great. It's going great.
Never underestimate humanity's ability to keep the fucking blinders on. It's incredible.
Yeah, best of luck to you, Knight James, and God bless, man. Like however you get there, man. Solomon Lich for 100 us.
There he is.
Thank you very, very much. They debate God and win. Juice. What if old history's chosen people?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he was able to negotiate a contract with God, who is Odin and also Hermes. Okay, so
you do not negotiate contracts with God.
I don't.
Contracts with the devil.
You don't. He does. Okay, that's his department, and boy, oh boy, you pay for it.
I'm just saying, right? You don't negotiate with the truth, right? The truth is just the truth.
What if I start my response with, "Well"? Am I already a 1 degree off course if I start?
Smiling Man for $5. Ben Shapiro destroys the creator of the universe with blood magic and golems compilation.
That would be a great AI video.
Fuck, that would be legit awesome to watch, mate. Yeah. Thank you very much. John Jackson for $10.
Thank you, bruv.
Israel means those who struggle with God, which Christians understand to mean it's difficult to walk in God's path. Moose, however, somehow seem to think that it means that you can beat God. Yeah, I believe that whole idea comes from Daniel, where he literally wrestled with an angel or something. I'm really not a theologian. I'm sure there are other people who can describe this better than I can. Unicorn Eyelays says, hey man, how you doing? Member for 3 months. Knowing what the Moos really think of Christ, it's pretty skillful propaganda to make Christians believe they could ever be allies. Mate, the thing you've got to understand, right, is that this has been an ongoing project for 200 years. I'm doing some research on dispensationalism. Actually, Agile Walrus sent me a really, really good reply with some people to look into about dispensationalism. Thank you very much for that, by the way, Agile Walrus. It's been going for ages. And I think if you really look at where it starts, it basically starts when the Moos get readmitted into England and sort of the way they kind of interfaced with Protestantism and exploited the Protestant Catholic schism and all this kind of stuff. It's been going on for a really, really long time. But I don't think there was ever really an endpoint, right? So on the last episode of History, I was reading all these accounts, as I was saying, about how the English felt, the Lords and the Parliament when the Moos were trying to get admitted to Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
And the Moos were just oh, look, we just want emancipation, right? We just want equal rights. Reading this shit 200 years later, it's just oh my fucking God. It never has an endpoint, right? These people don't have an off switch. It's if you give them this concession, then they'll just want another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one.
Just so you know, you're describing this over the invention of a light that's always on and can't be turned off during So literally, it never turns off. It's always on. It never ends. It keeps going.
It's a Shabbos light. Yeah. So it just keeps going, right? And sooner or later, all of society suffers the consequences, and that's a good thing, right? Who wouldn't want to live in a modern liberal society? By the way, did you know that boys can be girls and white people shouldn't have kids? Right? Oh God.
Yeah, and we can still use electricity as long as we do it this way.
Yeah. TNR FNV for $10. Thank you very much, mate. I had a history professor that said the Bible was the world's first anti-citrus document. Anti-Mooish is not antiseptic. I think that's absolutely true. You could make an argument that the gospel is one of the first anti-citrus documents. Just the gospel itself, which is why it is a goal to censor the Bible. But
Right.
they're having difficulty with it. But like they have been saying it, right? Like, we need to like change the Bible. We need to get rid of this and that. But I don't see how they could do it. So instead, they just sort of they shift the emphasis, right? Like you see this very, very clearly in like dispensationalism and in Protestantism. Like they sort of like change the emphasis. So, read more of the Old Testament, for example, right? Like don't focus on the gospel quite so much, or, so yeah. Jork Technician for $5.
Nice.
Recently read the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. I have a lot to say about it, but my main takeaway is that these spurgs are quintessential midwits. Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very interesting document, that actually, because everyone says like, the standard rebuttal is, oh, it's a forgery.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a bit like stumbling across a complete like Windows 11 like user guide, right? Like, and then someone's like, oh, it's a forgery. It's like, well, if it's a forgery, then how is it so accurate, and why does it like concisely describe how to use Windows 11?
Yeah.
Right? And it's
The
kind
next
of like
logical question, I would say.
yeah, and you're sort of like, what's the point of saying? Well, you know what the point is of saying it's a forgery. You don't want people to look at it too hard.
Stop. Is Verillium live in chat right now? How does this happen to us? How does this happen to us?
No way! Vrillium is in
Dude.
chat. Oh, Vrillium, mate, please do more readings of the Talmud. I really, really enjoyed those, mate. And your Hebrew pronunciation is like
It was
on
actually really hard to do commentary over what you were saying because I was just listening. There wasn't a lot to comment on, so I had to turn off. I'm like, okay, 2 or 3 minutes of that is pretty good to get us up to speed. Wild, bro. Thank you so much.
Yeah, wild. Like, yeah, really, really, really good content, man. Like, fucking, I hope you do more. And again, check out Vrillium's channel, man. Like, it's good stuff. Okay, so super chats achieved. Shall we go on to?
Oh yeah,
MAGA.
baby. Let's go. Let's, bro.
MAGA, mate, is dude. It's the ghost of MAGA, the shell of MAGA, the remnants of MAGA. It's just MIGA. And this I can't.
Bro, Mika. Hold on, dude.
Mika.
Okay,
Mika.
give me a long E there. You can't do a short I
Mika.
there.
I can't believe like how right 4chan was. Right, like you know how they say, right, like what is it? The greatest sorrow of book and pen is that 4chan was right again. They totally called it. Murdoch called this like years ago. They were 100% right. Okay, and now MAGA is, well, not exactly eating itself, right? Like it's sort of furiously masturbating, like wearing a million kippers, and everyone's just like, brother, wait, where's the
everyone's wanting to be led, and they just don't know who is supposed to be leading them right now.
Dang! Did you come? Brother,
what's that, brother? Yeah, so everyone's just like basically sort of like looking at the remnants of MAGA and just being like, holy fucking shit. But this really is sort of the remnants, right? Lindsay, of course.
These are the people that are telling you that what the country really is, right? And like, they are the authority on it.
And not only that, right? Like the irony is, it is literally Lindsay and the rest of these people that launched the MAGA civil war, right? And then they like literally did the cry-bullying thing of like, oh, why is there a civil war? Dude, you started it. You literally.
Where did we see this from? During Trump's first term, where they were constantly attacking Trump and then calling him divisive whenever he fucking defended himself.
God, so fucking retarded.
Oh, Lord, bring me back to that first Trump term. It was incredible.
Oh, mate.
Just you remember the energy of the first Trump term?
Yep. The hopium, mate. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Things are gonna change. Nah, it was all about Israel. It was all of the stuff that he did for America was just incidental to doing stuff for Israel. I can't believe it, man. I mean, like, okay, to be fair, the fact that they sort of like stopped the UK-US censorship industrial complex is good because, like, being in the UK, right? Like, the Trump administration did put a halt to like the worst excesses of censorship. Well, sort of, right? In as much as they opened up the tech platforms. But now they're basically trying to like do exactly the same thing, except for anti-citrucism, right? And be like, oh, you know, like the way you hear the fucking ADL talk, man, they're just like, oh yeah, well actually, you know, it's going to be like COVID, except instead of like not being able to like criticize the government or the vaccine, you won't be able to like criticize Israel. You're like, oh, fuck, would you just not?
Can I have anything?
I thought this was America, right? Like, you know, oh, well, actually, and they're using the same argument. Actually, don't you know that real free speech requires censorship because if everybody is free to speak, then not everybody is free to speak. Oh, God, shut up.
They're not trying to cancel you, and they're not calling you a Nazi. They're just saying that you're like a Nazi, so nobody will listen to you. You know, kind of like the left, oddly enough. Wonder where they learned from.
So okay. So look, they are flailing about, right? Like a fucking 10-armed retard factory.
Death butterfly.
Right? Yeah, like a death, exactly, like a death butterfly.
See, the analogies aren't so easy, are they?
We are now apparently the retard right. I mean, the thing is, like,
according to who?
And this gives you power over me.
What am I looking at?
I mean, the thing is, right? Like, oh, you're part of the retard right. So true, King. So true.
Who
thank
is
you very
saying
much.
this?
Oh, who is this guy? David Azarad. I have no idea. This is from like National Review. Look, let's dip in and see what this retardation.
What we are calling the retard right podcastistan, what you name it, I think is inevitable.
I'm sorry, pause it. I'm sorry, pause it. When was this released?
Few days ago.
Okay, March 15th. Dude.
Mm-hmm.
So the progenation of Podcastistan is 10 months ago. April. Almost 11. Actually, it's actually 11 months ago that it came out. And I did a video on it. Just 10 seconds of this video.
So, there's already something more cringe and meaningless than the woke right, and that's Podcastistan.
And how is this guy? And then no one heard about it ever again. How on earth? They're recycling things that didn't work less than a year ago, let alone recycling things that didn't work years, you know.
They don't, they're still trying to drag everyone back to phase one, right? But the horse has well and truly bolted by this point, right? And they, you know, they don't.
Today's St. Patrick's Day. Did we say that?
Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. And why should we look at it Irish too?
The titillation of transgression. I want a free internet. I'm an American. I don't want hate speech laws. It is inevitable that that'll happen, that there's going to be a contingency of people who are going to go down that rabbit hole for a variety of reasons. First of all, it's transgressive. And, you know, transgression used to come from the left where they would burn the American flag or, you know, you remember Piss Christ in the 80s or 90s?
Yes. Shortly followed thereafter by Piss Menorah. Oh, wait. That never happened. I wonder why.
That's a good point. Dude, can you rewind it to like 25 seconds? When he says the left, he points at himself, just so you know. There it is. I think so.
Transgression used to come from the left where they would burn the American flag or
at himself when he's saying that.
Piss Christ in the 80s or 90s. Today, the transgression comes from the right because the pieties are all on the left. Like you want to do something really transgressive, do a Piss Floyd at a museum, see if the NEA will fund it.
Pause it.
There's also
what if we go to a shitagogue? What would happen then?
Piss Floyd in the Fent reactor.
So the pleasure of thinking that you're in the know, and hey, here's what they don't want you to know. I know. You guys who watch Fox News, you don't know. And then there's the fact that it just kind of absolves you of blame, right? Why is America in such a mess today?
Oh, God. And all they have is the same stock arguments, right? You're just making these comments because it's edgy, right? You're just blaming like these people because it's too complicated for you to like understand, right?
know what this
Your
reminds me of?
small brain, right?
This reminds
It's
me of
actually-
black people that get to know what it's like to be black and what it's like to be white. These people just get to know all of their dissenters' motivations immediately. It's very convenient.
It's actually really complicated. No, it fucking isn't at all.
Darn it. Darn
It's
it, you're right.
really- It's really complicated, right? Now, the thing is, if you want to bamboozle people talking about
Which I do.
the market or these sort of, I mean, this is so BLM, right? Oh, it's systemic, right? It's systemic. Well, okay, what about going to war with freaking Iran, right? Because that's very simple. Okay, we either did or we didn't. And why did we? Well, we did because of Israel. Now, the reason, of course, that they bamboozle you like this is they don't want anyone to start saying, well, maybe this group of people has a disproportionately negative effect on what's going on, right? Like that's the danger route, because the next question, of course, after that is like, well, what could we do to mitigate the effects of these negative people? And then, of course, they leap immediately to the holly as though that is the only outcome. And the reason they leap straight to the holly is they don't want any of the other actual historical
Right. Was it Oren
like,
McIntyre that was like liberal history and he just named 3 events? It was like Civil Rights Act, the Holly, and then the Civil War or something like that. And like that's liberal history.
Yeah. But the thing is, right, and again, if you look at things like the Moo Bill in, I think it's like 1753 in England, basically they couldn't vote, they couldn't hold public office. They couldn't be like part of the stock exchange or the
And
Bank
how
of England or
safe
any of
were
this kind of
they?
stuff,
And how
right?
safe were they as a people? They were so safe. Oh,
Pretty.
don't they
pretty
want to be that
safe
safe again?
until stuff kicked off, right? Now, of course, if you read Mooish history, right, like they never did anything wrong, like literally ever.
Until coins clipped off.
Surprise, right? Like
Yeah.
every single thing that happened was just all those ignorant Christians, like, blaming the Moos again, right? But it's clearly more complicated than that, right? And they don't want people talking about that. And Lindsay, of course, remember that episode we did it. He was talking about Schmidt and about the concept that there were citizens, residents, and aliens. So you had like a 3-tiered
Yes.
system.
Oh yeah,
right?
when he was making sense the entire time,
Yeah.
when he was quoting Mustache Man, and we were like, okay, why is he quoting like really novel concepts?
So at the top, right, you had the people who could vote, who could hold office, right? They were full citizens of the country, and they were also obliged to participate in military service. Then you had like a second tier who were like protected by the state, right? But they couldn't have suffrage, and they couldn't participate in the political process, basically, right?
Yeah.
And then you had like aliens who were just like, we don't give a fuck about you, right? We're gonna like toss you out of the country, kind of like thing. And this essentially is the antidote to liberal democracy, to human rights. Like all this human rights stuff is basically predicated on having this system where every single person in a society, no matter their worth, no matter their status, no matter their origin, has exactly the same value as everyone else. And this is an aberration. And look what it has done to the West.
It's not our fault. It's their fault. And what they end up settling on, part of them, is the reason the
Yeah, bro, don't you know?
Dude, how did you manage to unpause it? And the first thing he says is essentially this.
Jews have been kicked out of every country we've ever lived, and it's never been our own fault.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. If you think about it, we all killed Jesus, bro. Right. You and me. Right. Let's not focus on who killed who or,
American Republic is collapsing is because of the American Empire. And the reason we have an empire is because of the Jews, who control American foreign policy, trick our politicians, or buy them off with AIPAC into fighting their wars.
He's spitting
And
right
then
now.
they either were jubilating on 9/11 or they had advanced knowledge but kept it from us because it would be in their interest
Pause
if
it.
we went to war in the middle.
I love this to act like, the criticism is all moves are the same. This is what they do every time. This is what they do with black people. This is where they learn it from. It's like some of them knew about it and some of them didn't, and some of them were happy. How is that so hard to understand? His proof that they didn't know about it is some of them danced in public. That's his proof.
At least. So in their minds is you point the finger at the Israelis, and then to get to your point, Rich, you just rewrite history accordingly. So yeah, I mean, they've never said no to the Israelis, right? This is why Jerusalem has been recognized as the capital of Israel for decades. This is why the Iran deal was sank. Pardon me, I'm still learning English. Was sank by AIPAC. Of course, like it's ridiculous. They say no to Israel all the time, but I'll say this, that part of the retarded right is impervious to arguments. I think we should still make arguments because there are people who are on the fence who don't know much history, but you are not going to
I mean, this is the thing, right? As polarization progresses, right? Something, by the way, that they have done nothing to ameliorate, like really, okay? The number of people in the center shrinks and shrinks and shrinks, right? Lindsay has like endlessly kvetched, right? And been like, oh, you know, we're gonna grab the center. It doesn't work in a environment of high polarization, right? The center becomes like much smaller. And what you wind up with is these two blocks, which is functionally speaking, by the way, basically what you have in the West now. You have these like two sort of polarized blocks. And if both of those blocks wind up not loving Israel enough, they are in deep doo-doo. And this is basically what is happening. You can't just rely on the center, because the way they sort of engineer this about the center is like, well, you know, the left has some good points, the right has some good points. We're going to like split the difference. But there are some questions that you cannot split the difference on.
Right? They're starting to find out.
Right? They really aren't. While everything's going great, everyone's got enough fucking money and everything's like, no, you can like pull this trick. But there are some questions that must be answered one way or another. And because they never get answered, they build up. And now we're in a situation where, because these questions haven't been answered, you got two sides basically fighting each other for the answer to those questions.
Vince Tucker Carlson, I think what you need to do is humiliate him. That is, I don't know if the Babylon Bee guys are here. That is very powerful, is mockery. There should be arguments, but there also has to be mockery. Like what you did with Nick Fuentes. Like, he's a gay little Mexican who's never kissed a girl.
I guess this guy's been watching my channel, huh?
And as a result, of course, Fuentes has been completely destroyed and now has zero influence.
Nick Fuentes did a crazy like WWF Hulk Hogan getting beat the entire match, all of a sudden hulking up, getting hit, none of it's affecting him. Momentum shift on Piers Morgan to make the Holly into a joke. Your mom died in the Holly. Well, you can't.
Yeah.
You want to talk about mockery? Did you see? What Nick Fuentes did to Lord Danny Finkelstein, dude?
Oh my God. So, now it's the podcast wars, bro. I like to feel that we do our part in the trenches, right? Like, you know, we are sort of, you know, in the trenches, the podcast wars, bro.
You know what this is like? This is like when there was an underground music scene and they're like saying that it's devil music. And if you play it backwards, there's like Satan. That's what this is right now. It's like, okay, this is non-mainstream. And it even is! It's Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson. It's incoherent! What is this? What is this group of people that they're trying to talk? Podcast? No. Me and you are more podcast. That's actual legitimate media. What is this?
They're just making this sound like really, really cool, I guess. You know what I mean, right? And they're like, oh my God, we're going to lose the next election. Well, maybe you should have prioritized the citizens of your own country, like over the citizens of Israel. Not even the citizens of Israel, right? Like the small the Israeli lobby, basically, is who you're talking about. Can
someone tell me who the guy on the left is? On the right, it's Piers Morgan, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. Who is that? Megyn Kelly?
Megyn Kelly.
Is that supposed to be Ben Shapiro on the left? Who posted this? Click on this guy's profile. Who does this guy like? What is this? Who is this for?
I don't know, man. He's a former nuclear scientist for the U.S. Department of Energy.
He certainly used to do a lot of stuff. Okay.
So, nobody asked for this. I mean, okay, fucking like whatever. Gay, right? Like you're gonna lose the election. And so you know what's gonna happen, right? The Republicans are gonna get destroyed probably in the midterms. I guess it all depends on like how quickly Trump can like wrap up the thing with Iran and how much will fall out.
No one has
I don't know. I don't know, right? But people remember higher prices, right? People remember shortages. People remember
gas increased over $1 per gallon in less than a week. It was insane.
Yeah, of course. And it's only like
you see why he's saying of course like that, because he knew it, because he knew that was going to happen. He's right again. Add another boiled eel and mushed peas to his cauldron. He was right again.
It really did not take a genius to figure that out.
Yeah,
mate,
but
right?
you were still right again. Wait, whoa. You're not doing this right. It doesn't matter how easy or hard it was. The most important thing is you were again right, okay? You're forgetting how to play this game.
I stand on the shoulders of giants, mate, right? Like I was only correct on this because I don't know, I have a functioning brain, I guess. Like, yeah. So yeah. The podcast was a simple guide to who is actually worth your time.
Trust this guy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, trust this guy.
Wait, who is worth my time? Can we look at that?
He doesn't even say.
What?
The best political voices don't just make you feel informed; they make you feel responsible. They tell you to register to vote. See, don't drop out, bros, right? Look, we are going to you just got to vote harder, bros, right? If you vote harder next time, right? The small clique that runs your country is sure to take your grievances and concerns into account next go around. We promise, bros, right?
So I know, but I love that because so he goes, if the host only ever asks you to subscribe, share, and leave a comment, they're never encourage you to go out and do something. Then if someone did that, he would then criticize them by going like, oh, they think all of a sudden they think that this important political voice, like he would criticize either one. We can agree on that, right?
Bro, if the only thing a host ever asks of you is to subscribe, share, and leave a comment, and they never encourage you to go out and do something meaningful, go to church. Go out and go to church. To push the conservative movement forward. Oh yeah, right. The conservative movement. it's like that clip from Civil War. Soon it'll be like, so what kind of conservative are you? Do you even know?
Yeah. What kind of conservative are you? Like, do you know how many countries a certain demographic has been kicked out of?
You're like, how do you feel about Israel?
I'm a conservative. What are you conserving?
Listen to this. You don't need the podcasters. They need you. They need your clicks, your downloads, your subscriptions, your attention. Without you, they're nobody. But without them, you're still a voter.
Oh,
and you have a say in what happens in this country. Oh, fuck. Jesus.
Yeah, if only we didn't vote for mass migration across the West. It's pretty silly of us to vote for that, don't you think? Well, we just got to wait till the next election. By that time, there's going to be another 5 million in the country. So, oh, yeah, my boy.
So we are seeing sort of an epic crash.
Look at his face. That's a thumbnail. I don't know how I didn't use that as a thumbnail. Hold on. Keep it right there.
Welcome to the Mark Levin Show. I'm Mark Levin. We're still fighting World War II. Mate, if this guy, right, like is still alive in 3 centuries, right? Like they figure out how to like, I don't know, extract like livers from
how long do you think he's already been alive for? Come on.
Oh, I don't know. Look, I feel like Levin is like the kind of person, right? Like if he could figure out a way to extend his life by a year by like extracting like the livers out of 100 suffering children, he'd be like, yeah, it's a small price to pay. It'd still be like 300 years. Never again is now. The Holly was only 300 years ago.
Who is drawing his eyebrows?
I don't know.
Donald Trump is operating in the tradition of our greatest peacetime/wartime presidents. Despite the outrageous media
he said peacetime, he's like, oh shit, there's also a war and wartime. Peacetime and wartime.
Who can really tell the difference between peace and war anymore? You know, isn't eternal war basically the same as eternal peace? As George Orwell famously said, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. Oh, gosh. Ugh.
In this country, despite the constant efforts under Operation Sabotage by a Democrat Party that is hell-bent on losing this war, that is hell-bent on undermining the commander-in-chief, that is hell-bent on undermining our armed forces, and yes, is giving aid and comfort, propaganda to the enemy, as are individuals who I call the woke right neo-fascists, who are stirring the anti-Semitism pot, who are stirring the trash Christian pot.
The only reason to say woke right and then neo-fascist is because then you just sound like the left if you don't add woke right first. It's the only difference.
I mean, what exactly is neo-fascism? Does it mean when you've got like a functioning country?
Right.
Like, is that what it means, right? Like, you know, when you've got like a functioning country that is like basically like religious and ethnically homogenous. I mean, it kind of sounds like that's what they're going for, you know? Fucking hell, man.
Than the same voices we heard in the 1930s, and just as disgusting, evil, and reprehensible. All this talk about this war wasn't imminent. Why did we decide now?
Can't he put his glasses
All this
on?
talk.
Why did we decide now? Well, we know why they decided now, right? Because Trump's only got like 3 years left and they got to get this shit over. They got a glass of run and they got 3 years to do it. That's fucking why.
We don't exactly know who is gonna. Well, I guess we don't know, but I guess they know. This is me whenever I listen to Mark Levin, by the way. Every time. Every single time.
Aw, sad Mark Levin.
Yes.
Where did you find that? Did you chat GPT that up?
I just do. Google Gemini has been treating me really well lately. I can upscale pictures with it too. I'm just trying to see how quick I can get with this stuff, you know?
Hilarious.
Talk about what is the mission. All of this is used to try and obstruct, undermine, dispirit, and divide this nation. At a time when Donald Trump is doing what great presidents do. Shame on you, Democrats, for what you are doing to this country. You will be remembered forever. You will remember as the isolationists of the 1930s. Shame.
Oh, God. Everything is the 1930s. Man, World War II Delenta Est. I swear to God, everything is like 1930s. Except the like quite obvious Weimar level degeneration like happening all across the West. Then it's nothing like the 1930s.
Yeah, except for everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
On you, woke right neo-fascists. You will be remembered as the unpatriotic, anti-American Jew haters that you are. I ask you, what do you think Jefferson and Madison would do?
Do you think they keep talking about how you will be remembered because they already have written history?
Oh, yeah.
They consider themselves to be the ones writing history.
Clearly, you know, right? And the thing is, like, this is such optics figging as well, right?
Yeah.
What if you care about the truth? Oh, you know, here you're going to be remembered. What if I don't care about how I'm remembered? What if I care about the truth? Right? Like, what if, don't you know, after we write history, we're going to make you the bad guys? You're going to do that anyway, right? Like, you, like, what is Mark Levin like seriously suggesting, right? Like, if we all like come to him on our knees, right? And, you know,
well, I mean, think of how small his world is. It's not the right. It's screw the Democrats, screw the right. It's just the neocons that are the right ones. So they force themselves into a minority of voices.
These circumstances today. What do you think Franklin Roosevelt would do in these circumstances today? Or Abraham Lincoln or George Washington or even Ronald Reagan when they didn't have nuclear weapons in Iran? What do you think they would do? They would take action.
Right. They would gloss Iran. Clearly. Right. The ADL is is getting unhinged, right? Look, shout out to Chris Menahan,
our on the ground digital correspondent.
on the ground. I mean, he doesn't know that he's our on the ground digital correspondent, but he is.
He doesn't have to. I'm doing what the moos do. I'm just selecting him.
That's right. Yeah, we claim him basically, right, as one of us. This is a great Twitter follow. Like, honestly, right? Like, I can't recommend this this guy.
He's
enough,
responsible for executively producing 10% of every stream.
Like, he just all he basically does is just publish all the weird conferences that these people like put
that
on.
are public. No one else is taking the time.
It is such an invaluable resource. So the ADL is having a conference at the moment. You want to guess what it's called?
The anti-semanticism conference.
No, it's called the Never Is Now conference.
Oh my dude. Is that them changing it to go see? It's technically different.
I mean, it doesn't even make sense, right? Like, what is it? Never is now, right? Like, oh, at least never again is now made some kind of like sense, right?
Right.
Right. So let's see what Mr. Greenblatt used to see for himself. Man, he just looks more like Nosferatu every fucking day. Give it another 10 years, like he's gonna like literally look like it's crazy.
Just look at what happened in the days after the U.S. and Israel launched the military operations against Iran. I mean, whatever your views on the conflict might be, and reasonable people can hold very reasonable differences.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see. Right? Look, you can disagree reasonably as long as we set the frame for what is and is not.
Wait, can I determine what's reasonable?
No. Of course not.
Okay, right. Yeah.
You're a filthy woke rightist, neo-fasci podcastistan.
Oh, you and my mother can just have lunch and talk about it, okay?
Oh, well, I shall. She's very, very, very disappointed. Oh, my God.
But next was not about policy. It wasn't about geopolitics. It was about blame. And the blame, as it so often does, was placed at the feet of who else?
The Israel lobby? That's what he's going to say, right?
The Portuguese.
The Portuguese.
Oh.
For some, they pointed fingers at the Israelis.
Now, again, they tried love for 3,000 years.
Tried the love us thing for about 3,000 years. Didn't work.
Again, our fault. Okay.
I mean, you just don't know history, Artie, right? The story of Amalek, right, is that they loved them, right, so much that they just convinced the Amalekites to like join them, and they lived happily ever after, right? That's how that goes. Yeah.
Who they claimed whispered a few too many times in President Trump's ear. For the senior senator from Maryland, a state with one of the most large, most active, most observant Jewish populations in America, he blamed AIPAC, which he slandered as un-American. Then there's the U.S. congressman.
Believe that.
Yeah. Don't look if you think about it, actually, Israel is much more American than America is.
Well, I mean, we really wouldn't have America without them, because when it's convenient, they'll remind you that they were here in the mid 1600s and here during slavery and also owned slaves. They won't remind, but they'll remind you when it's convenient that like it was a covenant upon the country's founding, magically and mysteriously. There were some moves in the country during 1776 and leading up to it. We won't talk about them. We'll just invoke them like they're magical little spirits.
It's so weird. It's so like the Psycho X girlfriend. You'd be nothing without me.
It is.
I made you.
It is like a Psycho X girlfriend that sounds like this.
But shalom, daddy's home.
Stated that he stands against the, quote, neoconservatives who led the U.S. into the current war. And instead, his words, he's proud to stand with Hassan Piker, one of the most outspoken, toxic, virulent
pause it.
anti-Semite.
Yeah, like we do, but do you see how it's just the Gentile perspective.
Yeah.
We are all lumped into a category with no differentiation between any of us.
Yep. I thought they hated that, you know.
Yeah, for them,
when
right?
it was done to them. But you know, I guess it's like fine. And of course, this just ignores like all the statements from the Trump administration that are like, oh yeah, we went to Iran like because of Israel. Like Trump literally fucking said it. Like, oh, mate.
Well, that was old Trump, not new Trump, not
Right.
Trump 2.0.
Is it antiseptic to like listen to Trump? I'm so confused, bro.
Anti-Semitic influencers in the world, who the congressman described as one of the representatives of, quote, a new moral order. Again, his words. Other elected officials fell over themselves to make big, splashy announcements of not taking money from the largest pro-Israel organization in the country, even as they seemingly have no problem taking money from anyone else.
Okay.
Well, the topic is specific. Okay, well, you're the topic. So I know. It's crazy. It's just like with Black Lives Matter, we can never talk about black crime. As James Lindsay said, the issue is never the issue.
They don't have any other talking points. Like this is going to end really, really badly. And I don't think they can ever shift talking points.
And
right?
because
everything is about not actually addressing the issue, right? Everything is still phase one, right? Greenblatt's never going to like move to phase two, right? He's never going to like talk about history or, you know, he's never going to like talk about like the disputations or, I mean, it just never. Like, and the ghost of fucking Theodore Adorno is still in the room with us. I'm serious, man. Like this Theodore Adorno is like one of the most influential sort of people that most people have never heard of.
Yeah.
Right. This whole idea of like antisepticism being like, it's actually a psychological disorder, and no, that's all fucking Theodore Adorno.
Now, maybe it's no surprise that 55% of Jewish Americans told our pollsters that they directly experienced anti-Jewish hate in the past year.
Pause it real quick.
With nearly one.
Do we have any of this data on white people having anti-white things happen to them? Isn't that incredible across the West? Have you ever heard of a study? It's wild.
No, we don't do studies like that, Hardy. That would only increase division and bolster white supremacy, don't you know?
Well,
right?
you don't want to know what the issue is.
Because goddamn Nazis!
That's the issue.
Goddamn Nazis. Are the vocal things like clipping? Like I feel like they're cutting off like the start and the end. We
have to be preloaded in the beginning, I believe.
God damn it.
Out of 5 saying they were physically assaulted, openly threatened, or verbally harassed. Now, if ADL were in here fighting anti-Semitism every single day, I fear it would have been far worse.
Oh God! Imagine if they did actually do like a survey, of whites, right? And whites are like far less hysterical, right? So like, you know, like practically everyone I know is like, oh yeah, like, you know, it happens like all the time. You know, they don't like make a big fuss about it, just, you know, the way it is.
But I also fear that if we don't turn this tide, life in America as we know it will irrevocably change. Change for Jews, sure, but also change for everyone. You've heard the cliche, but it persists because it's true. Anti-Semitism is the canary in the coal mine.
Pause it. It persists because it's true. Yes, what the anti-Semiticists are saying. That's why it persists, because it's true. Couldn't agree more.
But Artie, they're the canary in the coal mine, right? If you think about it, right, how healthy a society is purely predicated on how well it treats its moves.
Isn't that thinking the world revolves around you to the fullest extent possible?
Oh yeah, I know.
Isn't
right?
Like the ultimate main character syndrome.
Like not how it treats its citizens, how it treats its moves. Oh my God. This is so just incredibly like undemocratic on like such a fundamental level. Like,
well, I mean, this is the criticism of democracy with how legitimate is it? It seems like we can't really vote on some of the most important things in society.
Yeah, well, you see, you got to understand there are some critical questions that shouldn't really be put to a vote. You never know what people might vote for.
Yeah, can we vote on a referendum for Shexit?
It is an illness symptomatic of deeper decay and rot in a society. You see, a country riddled by anti-Semitism is one where intolerance is widespread, where conspiratorial...
Oh, okay.
Right, so
We're
BLM...
intolerant. We're
right?
intolerant. Okay.
Yeah. So when BLM happened, right, that's not when intolerance was like
That
widespread.
the ADL fully throated the entire time. We've
Oh, of
shown it
course.
many times. We don't have to show it again.
Of course it did, right? COVID was not, a period where like discrimination was like widespread or anything like that. I'm starting to feel they have a very slanted view, right, of like who is and who is not a person in this framing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Real thinking tops free inquiry, where pluralism is imperiled and where democracy is in danger. That's why we have no choice but to battle anti-Semitism with everything we've got, to protect ourselves as Jews, but also to save America itself, to keep this incredible 250-year experiment alive and thriving.
What if we're done being an experiment? You fucking yeah, Superman's dead.
I mean, no, the experiment here is to keep going. We'll know when the experiment ends. Oh,
yeah.
God,
Well,
man.
this guy's the woke.
Let me do a couple of super chats.
Oh,
actually,
sure.
piling up.
Okay. Yeah.
Leningrad for $10. Thank you very much, mate. He frames it around transgression versus piety as if the subject of the transgression is interchangeable. Precisely. Just another X variable, no regard to truth or rightness of what is being transgressed. Yeah, that like you see this all the time. There is no truth involved. Like it's just like if you're being mad at one thing is exactly the same as being mad at any other thing, right? It doesn't, there's no justice, there's no truth, there's no right, there's no wrong,
Well, this is the basis of my original criticism with James Lindsay, where he was talking about that it's just having a grievance. It's just viewing yourself as oppressed. There was no truth factor to it. There was no analysis as to, no, see, the left does it and the right does it. Yeah, exactly.
Which is why, presumably, Lindsay is about to say that people like Greenblatt having a grievance is just identity politics, right? He's totally going to say that, yeah?
I don't think so.
Bill Clinton skin suit for $5. Thank you. Fist was right again. This calls for a celebratory herring pudding.
Yes, dude, more of these.
I do love a nice herring pudding. You know what I'm saying, bruv? Thank you very much. CSI for $2. Hashtag Fist was right.
Let's go, fellas.
Leningrad for $2. 2 eyes of Newt in the Fist was right cauldron. Oh, I do love a nice eye of Newt. Ardent Party for 2 Canadian loonies. Cheap ad. Find me at Ardent Plays on Rumble. Yes, do go and find Ardent Plays on Rumble. He's a good lad. Bill Clinton skin suit for another €5. Thank you very much. All of this could have been avoided if Trump's father read him the bedtime story about the Jay who cried nuke.
This time. But you want to know what the Lindsayite say? Idiot. That story is about a wolf actually coming in the end, and that's what we're warning about. Actually,
Right. But that's not what we're warning about, right? Like all the actual thing when like the wolf's literally in the house with you, right?
Right.
The new GM for $5. Thank you very much. We should just get ahead of them and start calling ourselves the Right. Oh God. Some randomness poo for $5. Auction house was secretly a moo. I mean, I don't know about that, but
I know, but I love this. What if he was? Like how they're saying that Jesus was a moo, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what does that change? Okay, let's say Hitler I mean, let's say he was. Okay. All right. What does that change? Like, it doesn't change anything. It really is purely political. It's purely rhetorical.
Well, if he was, then surely that means he did nothing wrong, right? Like by definition, because obviously.
Well, I mean, you're talking to people that can beat God in an argument, so I don't know how well that would go.
So, apparently the Zionists are a bit worried that they're uncool now, Rose. I mean, to be fair, this must be quite jarring because for a long time they basically had a sort of a stranglehold on the culture, right? And I don't know like what exactly happened, right? Like somewhere around like 2016 or something, it just metastasized, and all of them got this idea that the purpose of culture was no longer to entertain. It was to preach, right? And to instruct, right? And to like tikkun olam their way. And as a result,
evangelize.
And it's all gone to crap now. They basically did like, you know, the sort of like evangelical thing where they're like, it's not enough to make like something entertaining. It has to be a message. And the message is bloody terrible and no one wants to listen to it.
Obviously, Javier Bardem yesterday got on stage and said what he said and got applause for it, right? Like the biggest applauses, the biggest media coverage. And that's what irks me because I almost feel like that's the cool kid thing to do.
Yeah.
We're on the uncool side. Like we're cool, but it almost feels like everyone cheering in that room just feels justified to do so because the person next to them, because Billie Eilish thinks it's okay.
Yeah.
And what do they, like they don't know, but that's the Hollywood representation. We know, and Aaron, we've spoken about this, like in behind closed doors, like so many Jews, right? We run Hollywood, we run the world, right? But like so many and so many supporters, but what we
Right, you do, but you're just running it really badly is the problem, right? Like gone are the days of Mel Brooks, right? Gone are the days of so many like just American movies, right? Like just dominated the culture.
I know, but they actually had to compete for currency. Now there's no currency anymore. They actually had to like there it was more merit based. Now they can't fail. Now it's
right.
Go woke, go broke, and it's like, well, they have unlimited money to pump into it. So I mean, I think that's really the issue they're running into is that there's no actual reverence for the art form anymore.
It's the failure of monopoly, essentially. Is what
I
you're
would
saying.
say that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
People are fucking coming here to watch us for entertainment. Okay, fucking it's a sad state of affairs. That's it. All right.
Yeah, she's pretty bad. Yeah.
What we see that they post is always not aligned with the Jews.
You almost have to feel like, is it by design?
You can crank the audio
because it just doesn't really add up. Now we have, and I always say this, like I'm not on the BBC, I am on Bravo, I'm not here to talk politics because I don't know enough. But what I will say is that I have Persian friends and tons of them that are not Jewish that are just so excited that there's this liberation happening. But yet, yeah, for real.
Yeah.
But yet, it's still uncool.
Still uncool.
So it's like, if that's uncool, then maybe it's not really adding up that our side is uncool. Like something is missing, and I haven't quite figured it out, but there's something in there that we don't know.
Dude, when is this from? I made a post saying if you keep having to say never again is now, doesn't that mean again keeps happening? And now they're calling it never is now.
You have become the dominant culture. And you can't be cool when you're the dominant culture.
This is queer. This is queer.
No. Like for so long, like, you know, they were like the underdog, like, you know, the plucky this, the plucky that. They were pushing back against Christianity, right?
Seeming like it, yeah.
Right? Seeming like it, okay. And now they have dominated, and of course they're not cool, right? It's the people pushing back against the status quo that are cool.
And but you get that. But that's also what I'm saying is that they get rusty. Now they're comfortable. Now they're complete. That's what decadence really brings.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Now also, this launched recently. Artie and I were talking about civil advocacy groups for whites and how likely that was to succeed. Someone has set one up. I don't know whether this will succeed. This is American, so it's not. If you tried doing this in Europe, like you would just be like immediately nuked from orbit. It's basically illegal. But in America, I believe you can still do this stuff. Give these guys a follow. Whites really do need like at least one advocacy group. So check it out.
Real quick. A point I want to make about calling things newtsy, okay? Just want you to consider something. So I'm having fun over here. I say, make him look like he's in World War II, okay? I'm inching toward it. I go, make him look like a newtsy. And they say, I cannot depict a specific recognizable living person with newtsy imagery and iconography. Depicting public figures in a defamatory or harmful manner is not in line with my safety policies. So now this is very mainstream, Google Gemini, okay? That is the reputational damage. So it's defamatory. Just to throw it around like that. That's defamatory. Socialist is no problem though, okay? This is the weight. This is the weight that calling something newtsy is, okay? You can't even make someone look like one. So when he levies that accusation like that, this is the subversive hidden effect of it behind closed doors. Well, I mean, we know it, but it's never talked about, which they're so good at doing, right? It's an unspoken rule that, like, you can't make someone look like, not you crazy. Do you know what that would do to their reputation? Anyway, you can call it no problem. We can call people that no problem all the time, but we can't make them look like one because we also duplicitously know how dangerous it is to call someone that. Very cheap trick.
Now, finally, we believe that we can't just throw our hands up and see anti-Semitism as inevitable. If we want to stop it, we've got to change hearts and minds.
Okay.
And that's our third pillar. From protect and advocate to educate.
Yeah. Have you tried being nice to people? Like,
no. That's because they're dealing with you can't try that approach because what they're dealing with is
because goddamn Nazis.
Those people are they're the hateful people. Okay. Now let me just keep going with this. I just want to look up how many Holly museums there are to see if we have enough education.
Like, it's just
how many do you think? How many do you think?
6 gazillion. I don't know. There's tons of them. They never like. Have you thought of like addressing the grievances of the majority population? They just can't, right? Like, education. You're just gonna like try the same things.
To my mind, to be smart about education, you need
to be smart about education. Only an idiot talks like that. I'm going to be smart about education.
When he says smart, he means devious, right? He means like, to propagandize children, basically.
That means evidence-based interventions that research demonstrates reduce conspiratorial thinking, diminish zero-sum moral reasoning.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Dude, listen to how mooish this answer is. How many Holly museums are there in the United States? There is no single universally agreed upon exact number of Holly museums in the United States, as it depends on the definition. Dedicated full-scale museums versus smaller centers, memorials with exhibits, education centers, or Holly-focused sections within broader mooish museums. That's how many there are. Of course, there's not a clearly defined definition. Now, there's 16 major ones, but I just love how it's all types of education are covered. So it's like, well, what do you really mean by that? I mean, we sneak it into kind of everything.
We have to push back on conspiracy thinking and zero-sum moral reasoning. Okay. Okay.
And strengthen the willingness of bystanders to act. Driving our efforts in this area is the ADL Center for Anti-Semitism Research, or CAR. We have a team of PhDs at ADL. They are on staff and continuously running experiments,
Pause it.
conducting tests.
They always talk about how much money and how many people they have behind what they're doing. Like, at what point can we say that? It's fucking every time we show it, they're talking about how much power they have.
Now, this is just the continuation of Adorno's work, right?
Okay.
What the hell was the name of that famous book of his? Oh, I can't believe I'm like blanking on the title. But basically, right, like this whole idea that you like you run like constant surveys, you do like psychological testing, you experiment on the population, usually like without their knowledge. Like it's all exactly the same stuff.
To assess what works and what doesn't in reducing anti-Semitic attitudes. Carr is working with their colleagues in the ADL Center for Technology and Society to understand how the major AI platforms are building their products so that we can help them prevent new technology from replicating the worst features of social media. We don't want LLMs to emerge as an even more potent super spreader of anti-Semitism and hate.
Oh, mate, I can't believe
very kind of him to do that for us and him. I'm doing this for me and all of you.
I have got to find out the name of that book by Theodore Adorno that he's going to like really. I did like a whole episode on it. What the hell is it called? Come on.
So Arden Party, as per Leo, Braves AI, a rough estimate suggests that there are over 300 Holocaust museums and study centers in the United States alone, with possibly thousands of memorials across North America, when including smaller monuments, plaques, and educational. Do you see how like broad that is? They can insert it into anything. Love it. Thank you, Arden.
The authoritarian personality is what it's called, right? Finally. Oh my God, that was like really bugging the shit out of me. Okay. But the thing is, they might have a bit of a problem with the whole education angle.
Feed me fist, yes.
Listen to this.
A large part of anti-Semitism efforts come down to the conviction that if we could simply properly educate more people, not the hardcore anti-Semites, as you mentioned, but people in the middle, that we would diminish the quantum of anti-Semitism in society. As a matter of fact, there's a fair bit of evidence that anti-Semitism.
Okay. So what this guy is about to say is like our exact opinion. Coming to a realization in real time.
Decline as educational achievement rises. In fact, it increases.
So
that's like our exact opinion.
The more educated people are, the more anti-citrus they get.
Yeah.
Wouldn't this create a perverse incentive to ensure that people were in fact less educated? I mean, I'm just saying, right?
We are pretty tired across the West.
And look at how their power is falling, right? Even Ben Eyebrows Shapiro cannot coerce one of his co-hosts to do a denunciation on his show anymore. This is a shocking decline in power.
So if Candace Owens decides to slander the widow of Charlie Kirk, I think that people have a moral duty to say that this is a bad thing, even if they are quote unquote friends with those people. And I find
but let's take that further. So obviously one should state one's view and say, you know, Erica's great and attacks on her are not right.
Well, Michael, I'll just ask you straight up. Is Candace Owens doing something evil by attacking Erica Kirk?
I think that it's wrong to attack Erica Kirk.
Well, no, say the sentence with her name in it.
I'm not going to dance like a puppet for the podcast.
You don't have to dance like a puppet, but you are dancing pretty quickly. I mean, there's a lot of tap dancing.
Pause it real quick. He says you don't have to dance, but you are dancing. It's so mooey. It's so mooey, even the way that he delivers that.
Imagine having to work for. Look at that. Look at the fucking smile on Shapiro's face.
Look at Clavin just diving into his hands like, oh boy.
Okay, so
I do have a couple of dial down things too.
Okay, good. I'll just look. Quick summary on the war. It's still going. Trump is like said like everything is AI. It looks like Netanyahu is like still alive. I don't really know. some ships are now getting through the Strait of Hormuz with oil, but they have to be denominated in Chinese yuan. This is sort of a blow against dollar hegemony. And there is reports that Trump's going to invade the Strait of Hormuz. And there are also persistent rumors that one of the aircraft carriers has been hit. Basically, I think it's the Gerald Ford, the most expensive one.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big ass fire on it that apparently burned for 30 hours. And they're saying, oh, it was a fire in the laundry room. And everyone's like, come on, bro. So it's currently limping its way to Greece to get retrofitted. 600 Navy personnel are now sleeping on the floor. It is a massive, massive shit show. So yeah, I don't know, man. Oh yeah, do you want to play that Houthi song? Let me play just a little
well,
bit.
Also the Netanyahu possible AI with Mike Huckabee.
Oh yeah. Okay, I've got that. Yeah, right. So Netanyahu is supposedly alive. Definitely not AI. All of the stuff that's been released recently just looks really, really weird, and people are looking into it. Everyone's like, is he dead? Is he incapacitated? If he had been taken out, you would expect sort of the entire Israeli American contingent to suddenly sort of suffer a sort of crisis of leadership and look like it doesn't quite know what it's doing. And that is kind of what's happened over the last week. So I don't know.
Dude, the speculation in the comments is absolutely incredible. It's a combination of people seeming like they are sincerely trying to figure it out, and some people that are just trying to fuck with people, and it all starts blurring together. The four-fingered man, we all know that he lost a finger.
Sussy. All I can say is sussy.
Oh, one other thing that was AI generated, they showed about 250,000 people in a square saying how much they love Khomeini. Totally AI generated. It never took place. The media knew it didn't take place, but they built it up like they have great support. They don't have support. And that whole rally that they had 4 days ago, that they said was fake. It was AI generated. AI can be very dangerous. We have to be very careful with it. But the rally, because I was actually surprised to see, because I know how much the people hate this leadership. This leadership has destroyed the country.
I mean, this feels like James Lindsay calling everything bots.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Incredible.
It's literally he's basically saying that after Khomeini was killed, there was a massive sort of gathering in the main square in Tehran. Now, if you've ever seen Shia Muslims do this, right, you can see it in London. This isn't surprising at all. Khomeini was the head of Shia Islam. He wasn't just the titular head of Iran as a country. He was also the head of Shia Islam, right? So he was if the Pope ran a country. So it's not just that people would, come out to mourn him because he was president or whatever, right? He would be the head of a religion. And Trump saying the whole thing was fake. Man, this is not a good sign. A lot of people have commented that Trump is now clearly detached from reality. And people are saying that a significant reason for this actually is the death of Charlie Kirk. So Brett Weinstein was talking about this. He actually was releasing some text messages that he had with Charlie. And Brett was saying that essentially Charlie was the biggest sort of anti-Iran war voice out there that was speaking to Trump. And this is how you sort of encapsulate a leader, that you cut them off from reality. The first thing you do is you get rid of, remove, marginalize any voices that are still attached to reality, and then you just surround them with advisors, and then you've got them. They're trapped in a bubble. You can make them believe whatever the fuck you want, essentially. And this seems to be what's happening. So yeah, what have you got?
what I have. Okay. Actually, let's do super chats first.
Yeah, let's do super chats. Okay. Some randomness poo for $5. A lot of people won't trust me. My dad works at Nintendo. He knows. Okay, fair enough. Right.
Interesting.
Right.
I'm not going to tell him he's lying.
Neutral centrist lib for $2. William's dad is a famous attorney. He glows hard. Well, he makes good fucking content. I don't give a fuck.
You can't take that away from him. You know.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing about Fuentes. It's like, okay, so they want us to all know this and not put the toothpaste back in the tube. But also that might give an inclination.
Okay.
To this stuff. You know?
Paulie B for $10. Thank you very much.
There he is.
Shabbat Shalom, fellow chuds. I really want that AI rap dubstep intro song from Artie and Fifth 46. Slop that it is. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Praying for you both. All right. And a happy St. Patrick's Day to you, Paulie B.
I know, but you guys can just like screen record it, man. If I have to go through and man, because like if I start having to go through and do that, then I got to do it for like almost all of them. And then that's a part-time job in itself. So, I mean,
man, that dubstep one was a fucking banger, man.
I can make them in seconds. You asked me for like songs today. I give you 8.
Man, no, I'm just saying, right? Like that was a particularly banger one, right? And like with the shape store stuff, that's definitely up there with one of my like favorite intros. I got to say, man.
You know,
Bubblegum Gun for $2. Thank you very much. Reminder: Well, WW2 Christians died in Normandy for this, bro. And Buford Justice wins membership.
It looks like it finally happened, fellas. We gotta Chad the chat.
And now the Chad does what the Chad wants, and no one is stopping him because Chad does what Chad wants.
Fellas, my new hard R disciples. dig through. I got some lore videos about, me 2018, 2019, me before who I am now. Very, very few, if any, content creators that you will pay $5 a month to has that behind the paywall. Very vulnerable, very revealing, very similar to what I am now, but a little more lefty. And also, I have some. It's really for some reason the last chunk of material is me really ragging on the blacks. So if you like that, probably going to be a good fit for you. If anything, it's going to be very interesting. It's a wealth of content behind the paywall. So enjoy.
What's this list you've got going, mate? I have no idea, huh?
So that's not why I brought you here today. Okay. Here's the reason why I brought you here today. I just want you to imagine being this guy, this tow truck driver at work. Okay.
Good. How are you? All right. Who's the driver? You're the driver? All right. So the best I can do is I can tow it off the highway, and then you call AAA or whatever.
Okay. Looks like hello, listener.
From there. Okay. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
You want them to hang in the car while you put it up, or you want them out?
Hell no. No, they gotta come.
Hell no. Dude, this guy knows what's up the entire time.
How much are you charging? You're looking at $350.
I'm not gonna give you a free forget about it.
Then it comes.
Here's the haggle. The guy sees the haggle coming from a mile away.
Or impound yard, and then you can.
Have you ever haggled with a tow truck driver? Like that's not even like in my mind. I'm like, what can I do about this? The car has to be moved.
Let it sit there. That's the only other way.
You're a thief.
You can say what you want. That's sure. How ironic how we're the thieves. Hey, the car comes back to our yard.
I can simply sit in my car. But he is making sense, right? He doesn't want to see you get hit either. That's not his responsibility. Say it again.
When we get the quick check, I'll take payment there.
Constantly checking, constantly asking questions. This is like the OG black person getting pulled over. Constant questions. Like, Yeah, you're gonna have to pay him. Well, when do I pay him? What is it? Why does it matter? Don't you need a car to get out of there?
Can I speak to your supervisor?
That's what it feels like, doesn't it? It's the OG.
I can't drop the car until I get payment. So we'll go to quick check, and then we can handle the payment from there. Hey, bud, just a heads up too as well. You have about 5 minutes to make a decision. Otherwise, it comes back to our yard.
They're just stalling the entire time. They're looking up the law. They're fucking the whole time. The guy's waiting, and he's like, so they're like, well, technically, he can't move it if we're making a decision, right? Almost like a black person thinks that they can't get in trouble as long as they're just, hold on, let me think. No, get out of the car. Wait, hold on. I had to ask another question. This is where it all comes from. Like, bro, get your car out of there. Let the guy, well, hold on. And it's gonna like, he doesn't want it to like become an altercation, you know?
Uh-huh.
In Waldwick. And it's gonna be more when it goes back to our yard. So make a decision within 5 minutes and come back to me when you're ready to pay. All right?
Then the guy has to go to the cop, and he's like, listen, dude, this car is getting moved soon. We're sitting here. We're both getting bored right now, okay?
So I didn't really get an answer. I just got like and then.
I have a card for you. Maybe you should put it on the other side.
Well, I can't stop until I take payment first.
Oh, okay.
So you paying card?
Yeah.
All right, very good. Let me see this. I need their license to avoid fraud.
This guy just knows how to handle the situation. This must be in like New Jersey or something, right? Where he's used to handling this like over and over and over and over and over again. Now, Fist, let's end this by playing a game, okay?
Okay.
Okay. What is the word?
Burger, right?
Fill in the blank.
Burger, B-U-R, singer.
Oh, singer, yeah.
That's correct.
We got?
Ninja.
Very good.
Ninja.
That's correct.
Okay.
Digger.
I'm sorry, what?
Digger.
That is correct.
Digger.
That's correct.
Bigger.
Very nice.
Oh, bigger, because he's taller.
That's correct.
Okay.
Riggers.
Wow. Wow. His back has been up against the wall a few times, huh?
Riggers? Because like an oil rig?
That's correct.
Okay.
What the hell is that guy even doing?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
What is he holding?
I can't even see what the fuck he's holding.
Chat? Do we have the chat? I think we do.
I don't know.
That is correct, chat.
Oh, a dagger.
Yeah, you're racist. What did you think it was? Unbelievable, guy.
I don't know.
Ooh, I have no idea what that is. Oh, dagger.
That's correct.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Now, I don't know how you could possibly misconstrue this, okay? Just first thing that comes to your mind. What could you possibly think this is? What's on their shirts?
I don't know.
Numbers?
Why? What did you think it was?
Numbers.
Unbelievable, this guy.
Just
simple phrases, simple words.
That's correct.
That's a crazy answer.
I bet. Fill in the blank.
Very good. Very good, Fist. You've completed that. And
dude.
all I want to do, okay? We're getting more of a reach now, okay?
Uh-huh.
All I want to do is see if we can find this kid, okay? And we're not going to watch the whole thing.
For the genocide.
Why do you hate Jewish people?
I hate Jewish people because Jewish people are for the genocide of white people by race mixing and...
Now, his name is Raymond, okay? I don't know his last name, and he was 16 here, so he's born in 1980.
And racial treason.
Wait, so all Jewish people are for the genocide?
Their religion itself calls all Gentiles cattle, which that means that I am cattle to them, and they call us goyim and such
Look at how sad the father is. The father is like, this is what my son is. I can't logic my way out of this with my own son. Every time I have an argument, he beats me in the argument. Please, Ricky, can you talk to my son over and convince him?
Such stuff like that.
And so that causes you to hate them.
Because of the fact that they hate me, of course I'm going to hate them. And
he has to exist, okay? The man has to exist nowadays. Hopefully we can find him and talk some sense into the boy. You hear that, YouTube? Hopefully we can talk some sense into the boy. Very misguided.
Do you want to play out with some Houthi battle songs?
Get it, girl.
So the Houthis, the Yemenis, right, have a tradition of battle songs, right? I don't know whether it's because like they're sailors or anything like that, but back when the Yemeni war like kicked off, people who are watching my other show, Happening TV, I was like playing some of these like just weird Houthi battle songs, and I just thought we'd just play you like a little bit of this.
عد القوة عد الوين وعدادك والباطل خير عد سلاحك سن رماحك
Let me just talk over it. So you can keep playing it. Just mute it for a second and play it.
Prepare your guts. I like to be with a goat by the sea.
Almost all the way down. Almost. There we go. Keep playing it. Yeah. So this happens with like MMA fighters sometimes. Like the music they come out to is so like silly and daffy to me when they're from a different country. Like, why is this their hype music? I'll never understand that.
I don't know, man. It's a Yemeni thing, right? Like they're just really into these kind of like weird songs. They've got like entire male choirs that like sing these. Like like entire like military choirs that like sing this kind of like stuff. It's very weird. You know what I mean, right? Like
I know, but it doesn't get me very amped up.
Yeah, well, you're not Yemeni, are you? Right? Like,
That was silly. It sounds like something you would play and have a 13-year-old boy dress up as a girl and dance to. Is what it sounds like.
Right, we got some final super chats before we go.
I'm starving, fellas. I gotta go.
The Great Slayer for $2. Thank you, mate. A rut-roll, Raggy. Ringers. What is it, Scoob?
Oh, Scoob.
Oh, Scoob. Isaac for $10. Thank you very much. I just got off work. Can you please restart the stream? It will make you have a 10-foot-pound cook, and you will bring your family honor and make your wife and children not cheat on you. Rem Sigma.
Take that. Wow. What do you think of that? He for some reason did an impersonation of a Chinese person for like 2 straight hours the other night. There was nothing you could do. I don't know who was making him do it. And so he wasn't thinking. It was stream of consciousness. And he started just messing up his words. So
he was a curry being controlled by a CCP and the chairman of Xi. Yes, the Unit for $2. Hey, yes. Everybody loves Raymond, but our version.
Yeah.
And Bill Clinton skin suit for another €5. Thank you, mate. Fist was right once again. Have some leftover sheep hoof pie before you go to bed. Good night, fellas.
That's what you like to eat. You like to eat these things because
I do love it. I do love a bit of sheep hoof pie. You know who else likes a sheep hoof pie? When we're going to battle.
Yeah. See, that's
song's got in my head.
That's so you.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, I do live in London, so actually, if you think about it.
No, I actually don't want to think about living in London. No offense, dude. No offense. I'm sure the old telephone booths that no one uses anymore bring a lot of character to the city. And
excuse me, people smoke crack in them, right? Like, what do you mean? People urinate in them. They are a part of London's vibrant and diverse culture.
They have actually have a high concentration of utility in those things.
Honestly,
okay?
they're the saddest fucking things like you ever seen. Like the ones that are, so you'll see them. They just smell of urine, and you see like crack pipes, and like the telephones are all like messed up, and the things like ripped off. Truly a delightful high trust society, mate. Right?
Yeah, you can trust that there's going to be piss and crack in there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the remains of crack.
I am going to be sending you to Jake Rattlesnake right now. Okay, he is live, I believe. Is he live? Is he live? He is live. It's not live. He is live. Excellent. I'm going to be sending you there. Ooh, nice. I think he's at 544 right now, fellas. Let's see if we can get him into the 600s or 700s. That would be cool. And then if you said who sent you there to give him a little fucking bit of a pump, that would also be cool,
Tell him Marty and Fist sent ya.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let him know who sent you.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here. We have the best, fellas. Thank you, fellas. Thank you for everyone who super chatted. We'll be back on Friday.
It's the same days every week, Fist, okay? I know that your toilets flush backwards and everything, but the days of the week are the fucking same thing where you are, aren't they?
Listen, man, after like 3 hours, my brain starts to like run down. Also, on Thursday night, there will be another episode of the Conspiracy Pyramid with Clown Town Chronicle. If you're like enjoying that,
are you guys is that kind of like a regular thing going on?
Yeah,
a little bit over there. Are you guys like going steady yet? What's going on there?
It might indeed be a regular thing. I don't want to say too much.
One more super chat, I believe.
Oh, one more super chat. Yes. Kevin 11 for $2. Ben Shapiro accusing others of dancing. Lol, ironic.
Yeah, right. He's very forthcoming with everything that he says. Fellas, I'm getting starving over here. I got to go eat a bacon, egg, and cheeseburger, baby. So, fellas, got the best fellas. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.